Okay, but you can't be none of y'all.
Yep, stick.
Sister Tracy.
So apparently,
Confessing.
No party, love.
The room didn't erupt with shouting.
Child.
She said she thought.
so first,
Part of
Looks like the
we just got word.
Tony knows.
this is why I got
And Tamar,
Everybody is asking the same question right now. Did Tamar just lose the last person who was still on her side? The drama keeps getting louder, and the situation around Tamar Braxton is starting to look messy again. Tamar had been keeping a low profile for a while, focusing on her health and trying to stay peaceful. But let's be real. History shows that when Tamar gets pulled into conflict, things can spiral fast. Over the years, Tamar has had tension with a long list of people. Fans remember the messy situation with K. Michelle, where the conflict became so intense that BET reportedly stepped in and even brought Mama Patty to try calming things down. And that wasn't the only clash. There were also rumors of drama involving people connected to Jermaine Dupri's family. Some insiders even claimed there was a heated elevator incident, though those stories remain allegations and never fully confirmed. But the most emotional conflicts have always been inside the Braxton family itself. Tamar's disagreements with her sisters, Trina, Tracy, and Tawanda, have played out publicly more than once. At one point, rumors spread that Tamar had helped Tawanda financially with her home, only for later accusations to surface about money disputes between them. Those claims were never fully proven, but the tension between the sisters became impossible for fans to ignore, and the tension didn't stop there. At one point, Tawanda reportedly made a shocking claim that Tamar had crossed a serious line involving someone connected to Toni Braxton's past relationship. The allegation caused a huge stir among fans because it suggested the conflict inside the family was even deeper than people realized. Things got so heated that rumors spread Tamar was ready to confront Toni directly. Whether that moment ever truly happened or not, the mere idea of it showed just how explosive the situation had become. But Tamar has also built a reputation for stirring the pot in smaller, subtle ways, too. Sometimes it's a comment, sometimes it's a post, sometimes it's a quick remark that gets everybody talking. Recently, she made a statement online that had people raising their eyebrows. Tamar wrote something along the lines of, "Oh, babe, I sold out the same place my sisters are performing at. Check your references." Now, nobody even asked for that comparison. But Tamar said it anyway, and that's the pattern fans keep pointing out. Over the years, Tamar has had public clashes with a long list of people: co-hosts, industry figures, former partners, and even people connected to those relationships.
And in creating the show. That's why I'm saying I wish they would have told me that, because I wouldn't have cast Big Back Cadillac.
I'm finna get ready to leave.
We probably would be in our 10th season by now. Thanks. Ain't that dumb?
Red, I can't stand your laugh.
And that's no shade.
So Tamar, Big Back Cadillac. What
How
happened?
did back get so big?
I don't know. But what happened, Tamar? Because okay, so when we say Big Back Cadillac, who are we talking about?
The person you just named.
Oh, so Lonnie ended up being the person in the place of where I think, that's what I think. I'm just assuming now. They came to me with the contract for the reel, and then I ultimately did not do it.
I don't
because of the Real
understand
Housewives.
that.
Well, and when I go back,
did Bravo not let you do
I
it?
think it was Lonnie. I could have been wrong, but you just put me on to something thinking like we had two big personalities. But I don't think, because they knew you were coming from the jump.
They knew that. They built the show.
Like, I always thought it was Lonnie.
The arguments come, the tension builds, and somehow Tamar always finds a way to throw one more comment into the mix. Now, I didn't even put funky in the title of this video because that situation mostly cooled off. But if you watch closely, the little jabs are still there. Tamar has a way of doing that. It's rarely a full explosion anymore, but the subtle shade, that never really disappears. And shout out to the BFE fans community. Seriously, they keep their ears to the street and catch things most people miss. But that brings us to another moment people still remember. The situation involving Chaka Khan. Yes, that moment. Fans watched that whole situation unfold online, and many people felt like it was one of those attempts to grab quick attention. But it didn't go the way some expected. Chaka Khan made it very clear she wasn't about to entertain any nonsense, and that energy shut the situation down fast. Tamar backed away once it was obvious Chaka wasn't playing around. And believe it or not, that chain of drama brings us to the real story happening right now, because reports are now circulating that Tamar may have fallen out with someone much closer to her. Her longtime best friend, James Wright Chanel. If you somehow don't know James Wright Chanel, he became famous years ago after a hilarious viral video celebrating Patti LaBelle's pies exploded across the internet. That one moment changed his life. Millions of views, meeting Patti herself, touring with her, and eventually becoming very close with Tamar. Over the years, they built a real friendship, traveling together, appearing on tours together, and showing fans what looked like a genuine bond. Interestingly enough, when I actually met Tamar once, it happened completely by chance through James Wright Chanel. It wasn't some planned introduction, just one of those random moments. And I'll say this, James was incredibly nice. Tamar and James were laughing, joking, full of energy, clearly enjoying each other's company. It didn't look fake at all. They genuinely seemed like real friends who had built a strong bond over the years. But now, things may not be so solid anymore. According to the BFE fans community, there could be serious tension between them. Some viewers first started noticing the shift after the incident involving Chaka Khan. When James was reportedly caught in the middle of that situation, many people expected Tamar to immediately defend her friend. But when that strong public support didn't come right away, fans began questioning what was really going on behind the scenes. And then BFE fans caught something else that made people raise their eyebrows. In a recent video Tamar posted, some viewers believe she may have been subtly referring to James during a conversation about loyalty and friendships. What also caught attention is Tamar's new content style. She recently launched Bonded Ministries, which some fans say feels very similar to the tone of Tammy Roman's Bonnet Chronicles. Tamar also has a show format that reminds viewers of Tammy Roman's MTV projects. Now, some people are wondering, is Tamar simply inspired by Tammy's formula, or is she stepping a little too close to that same lane? Now listen, I could be wrong here. Y'all can tell me what you think. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. If you've been rocking with the channel already, make sure you tap that like button too. And if you ever see the option to hype one of the videos, please do it. That kind of support really helps smaller creators grow and keep these conversations going. But let's talk about something people keep pointing out when it comes to Tamar. Her personality is extremely animated. Some fans absolutely love that energy. It's loud, dramatic, emotional, and entertaining. But at the same time, when you look at the pattern of conflicts surrounding her, the list is long. We're talking family disputes, friendship fallouts, relationship drama. It just keeps happening. And at some point, people start asking a serious question. When conflicts keep popping up with so many different people, is there a moment where someone has to pause and look inward? Not saying Tamar is always wrong, but when the tension keeps repeating itself, it makes people wonder whether something deeper is going on behind the scenes. Now, this is where things get really interesting. The BFE fans community noticed something small but very telling. And I had to double check it myself because I've personally seen Tamar and James Wright Chanel together acting like real friends. But when you go to Tamar's Instagram page, she is not following James Wright Chanel anymore. And when you go to James Wright Chanel's page, he is not following Tamar either. Now hold on, that account right there is Texas Tam Tamar, not Tamar Braxton's main page. But here's the interesting part. Even though James Wright Chanel isn't connected to Tamar the way he used to be, he is still following Toni Braxton, and that small detail has fans reading between the lines. Because if you really look at Tamar's history, there's a pattern people keep noticing. We often hear Tamar talk about the conflicts, what someone else did, what someone else said, how someone else crossed the line. But it's much rarer to hear Tamar step back and explain what role she may have played in those situations.
Okay, so stop trying to make a friend out of your enemy. Stop it. Because they will always be your enemy. They will always think negative. They will always think the worst of you. They will never, ever secretly change their mind. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if they act like, they cool, I was mistaken. Don't believe it. Stop trying to be friends with an enemy. Or an op. That's what y'all call it, right? Ops. An op is an op. The op will always be an op. Believe an op. Because the second, I'm gonna have a good day. Because the second they get a chance, see, I told you. Leave them people alone. Find you some people that really believe in you. Find you some people who like you for real. Find you some people who want to pour into you. For real, pour into you. Find you some good people. And not pour into your ego. Because that's another word. That's Monday. I'm going to hold that for Monday.
And this latest fallout is making fans question that again. There's even an old moment people keep bringing up when discussing Tamar's public conflicts. During one tense on-air situation, Tamar was clearly emotional and upset. Now, to be fair, she genuinely looked hurt in that moment, but viewers also noticed the body language around her. The reactions from the other hosts looked awkward, almost uncomfortable, and people online started dissecting every second of that clip. And that's where the conversation keeps circling back to the same question. When conflicts keep happening with friends, co-workers, and even family members, eventually people start wondering if some accountability needs to happen somewhere in the middle. Because watching friendships fall apart, especially ones that once looked so genuine, is never fun. But when it comes to Tamar and James Wright Chanel, fans are now asking the question out loud: what really happened behind the scenes? And that question is exactly why people are paying close attention right now. Because when friendships like this suddenly go quiet, something usually happened behind the scenes. Tamar and James Wright Chanel weren't just casual acquaintances you saw once at an event. These two were together constantly, touring, traveling, filming, laughing on social media, showing the world what looked like a real ride-or-die friendship. So, when fans suddenly notice they're not interacting anymore, people start investigating fast. The internet does what the internet always does: checking follows, checking likes, checking comments. And once people saw that the mutual follows were gone, the speculation started spreading everywhere. Now some supporters are saying maybe it's nothing serious. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe they had a disagreement that will blow over. Maybe they're simply taking space from each other for a while. That does happen sometimes, even with close friends. but others aren't so convinced. They believe the tension may have started building earlier, especially around that situation where many felt James didn't receive strong public support when he was dealing with that confrontation involving Chaka Khan. Fans noticed the silence, and silence on the internet can sometimes say a lot. And if this friendship really has fractured, it raises a bigger question around Tamar's circle. Because when someone keeps losing people who were once extremely close to them, eventually everyone watching starts wondering if there's a deeper story nobody has heard yet. And here's where the situation starts getting even more uncomfortable for fans who followed their friendship for years. Because Tamar and James Wright Chanel weren't just friendly on camera. These two moved like real-life best friends. James was around Tamar constantly, touring with her, appearing in her shows, traveling together, celebrating big moments together. Their bond looked genuine, not like one of those quick industry friendships that disappear after a few months. That's why this sudden distance feels strange to people watching from the outside. Normally, when Tamar has conflict with someone, it's loud. There are posts, interviews, comments, reactions. Something always leaks out. But this time, the silence is almost louder than the arguments used to be. And fans are noticing something else too. James has stayed relatively calm online. No public attacks, no dramatic call-outs, no long emotional explanations. That alone has people wondering if something bigger happened privately that neither side wants to fully expose yet. Because let's be honest, when a friendship this visible suddenly goes quiet, it rarely happens for no reason. Either there was a serious disagreement, a betrayal, or something said behind closed doors that changed the entire relationship. And if that's the case, the real question becomes this. Did Tamar lose another close ally, or is this just a temporary break before the two eventually reconnect again? And that's where the conversation online is really heating up. Because people who followed Tamar and James for years know how tight they used to be. This wasn't just a friendship for social media photos. James was part of Tamar's world, on stage, backstage, on trips, in videos, always somewhere nearby. When fans think about Tamar's inner circle, James Wright Chanel was one of the first names that came to mind. So when something like this happens, fans immediately start asking what changed. Did something happen privately that we don't know about? Was there a disagreement that went too far? Or did the friendship slowly fade after that public situation involving Chaka Khan that had everyone talking? Another thing that keeps people guessing is the silence from both sides. Normally, when celebrity friendships fall apart, somebody eventually drops a hint, an interview comment, a cryptic post, something that lets the public know what really happened. But this time, both Tamar and James have kept things unusually quiet. And that silence is exactly why the speculation keeps growing. Because when two people who used to appear everywhere together suddenly stop interacting online, fans start connecting dots whether those dots are accurate or not. One thing is clear, though. If this friendship really has ended, it marks another major shift in Tamar's circle, and people are watching closely to see if either side eventually tells their version of the story. And the longer this silence continues, the more people start digging. Because fans don't forget how close Tamar and James Wright Chanel used to be. They laughed together on camera, supported each other during tours, and moved like family for years. When people saw them together, the energy looked natural. No awkwardness, no forced smiles, just two friends enjoying the spotlight together. That's exactly why this sudden distance feels strange to longtime viewers. Normally, friendships don't go from that level of closeness to complete online silence overnight. Something usually happens in between, something that changes the dynamic completely. And the internet has already started doing what it always does, looking for clues. People are rewatching old interviews, scrolling through past posts, and trying to figure out when the shift actually started. Some fans think the tension began building quietly long before anyone noticed. Others believe the situation with Chaka Khan may have been the moment that exposed cracks that were already there. But here's the truth. Right now, nobody outside their circle truly knows the full story. What we're seeing are small signs, missing follows, fewer interactions, and two people who used to appear inseparable suddenly moving in completely different directions. And if history tells us anything about Tamar's world, it's this. When relationships around her change, the real story eventually finds its way into the open. So for now, it really does feel like the end of an era for Tamar Braxton and James Wright Chanel. A friendship that once looked solid, full of laughter, tours, and viral moments, now sitting in complete quiet. Whether this situation stays that way or eventually gets repaired, only time will tell. But I want to hear from you. Do you think this friendship is truly over? Or do you believe Tamar and James will eventually work things out? And if you enjoy breaking down stories like this, make sure you subscribe to Juicy Reel right now. Hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, and stay locked in because more videos are coming, including a conversation the internet is having about Chris Brown that has people arguing everywhere.
So many homes, y'all. Like, we just have so much real estate. Like, imagine that, being homeless and having homes. He actually just bought me a new one. So I said to say about my Bentley, I said to say because I'm in my baby's truck, which I love, which I'm sure he's tired of me driving.
The internet literally froze for a second because Tamar Braxton is back outside, and not low-key, not taking her time, not moving careful, outside with a brand new man and the red flags. They're flapping like it's hurricane season. You'd think somebody smashed the emergency button in the Braxton family group chat the way this news hit. Let's not play confused here. This isn't just Tamar got a boyfriend. This is the same Tamar who just dragged her last relationship across every headline in America. The same Tamar who openly admitted she walked down the aisle after chaos, embarrassment, and public disrespect had already shown its face. That wasn't ancient history. That was yesterday in celebrity time. And her sisters, they've been through it with her: engagement or separation, remarriage, divorce, emotional crash, all happening at lightning speed. It was like watching a relationship reality show with no commercial breaks. Now suddenly there's a new mystery man in the picture, and insiders are whispering that the energy inside the family is not celebration, it's caution. Because according to people close to the situation, this didn't start with hugs and champagne. It started with raised eyebrows. Allegedly, circles connected to Toni Braxton, the late Tracy Braxton's people, and even Tawanda Braxton have been quietly side-eyeing the timeline, the speed, the secrecy, the whole vibe. One source allegedly said it feels rushed again. And that word again? That word is loud. Because Tamar's history with love hasn't just been dramatic. It's been explosive. Patterns don't whisper, they repeat. And when family members start getting flashbacks instead of butterflies, that tells you everything you need to know. From Vincent Herbert to David Addafiso to Jeremy Jr., every chapter in Tamar Braxton's love life has ended louder than the last. Each breakup didn't just fade out quietly, it exploded. Public statements, accusations, emotional lives, social media chaos that kept the blogs eating for months. It was never just, we split. It was a headline marathon every single time. And now, here we go again. New man, new luxury posts, new soft life glow, new I'm so happy energy flooding the timeline. but insiders are claiming underneath the designer bags and candlelit dinners, there might be a fresh set of red flags sparkling under all that gloss. And that's the part people can't ignore. Sources say this mystery boyfriend is very wealthy and very private. Tamar has allegedly been telling friends she's finally at peace, that this man protects her, that he moves different, that he's not like the others. But here's why eyebrows are lifting. People close to her claim they've heard those exact same words before, word for word, and history has a loud echo. Now here's where it gets tense. There are whispers, nothing confirmed, nothing official, but whispers spreading fast that this new man may have a complicated business past. Again, nothing proven, but it's the type of background chatter that makes protective sisters lean forward and start asking real questions. And according to one alleged insider, there's already been a tense family conversation behind closed doors. Not celebration, not cheers, a conversation. And when the Braxton sisters start having talks, you already know the temperature in that room isn't calm. The phrase, slow down, was allegedly said. The question, have you healed, was reportedly asked straight to her face. And if you know Tamar Braxton, you already know that did not land softly. Because one thing Tamar does not accept is someone implying she doesn't know what she's doing with her own heart. Reports say her response was defensive, sharp, quick, protective of her choice. And now the internet? The internet is in full detective mode. Old photos are getting pulled up. Body language clips are being slowed down frame by frame. Luxury car posts are being compared like forensic evidence. Fans are already whispering, not again, because this isn't just about Tamar dating, it's about patterns. And patterns make people nervous, especially when insiders are hinting that there was a private disagreement between her and one sister that wasn't calm at all. If even half of that is true, then this isn't gentle sisterly advice. This is the start of a confrontation brewing behind designer doors. And allegedly, one sister warned her directly, "Don't let him love bomb you." Love bomb. That phrase alone lit the match on this whole situation. The moment Tamar stepped out smiling next to this new man, the blogs didn't just post it, they practically stamped it in red ink. Because this wasn't a quiet phase, this wasn't a let me date in peace era, this was full luxury captions, Bentley torque energy, real estate flexes, subtle shade thrown at the past, and that familiar tone Tamar uses when she's trying to convince the world, and maybe even herself, that this one hits different. When the glow-up posts start coming fast and the captions feel like declarations, that's when people start paying attention. And right now, everybody is watching. And according to someone claiming real proximity to the family, the sisters clocked it instantly. One of them allegedly said, "She sounds like she's selling it again." Selling it. That word is heavy, because when Tamar Braxton falls in love, she doesn't just fall, she launches a campaign, she performs it, she announces it, she defends it like it's a championship title. She builds a whole castle around that relationship and dares anybody to question the foundation. We saw it with Vincent Herbert, we saw it again with David Adefisio, and we definitely saw it with Jeremy Robinson. Every single time, the man was introduced as her protector, her peace, her forever. And every single time, headlines and heartbreak followed. Now here comes another king, but this time the whispers are louder. Because insiders claim this mystery man didn't just appear out of nowhere. Allegedly, he was already around while the emotional dust from JR hadn't even fully settled. That's where people start connecting dots. One blogger even hinted that Tamar had been talking to this new guy for a minute before the public truly understood she and JR were done. No proof, no screenshots, just timing. But in Tamar's world, timing is everything. And then came the flexing. Tamar jumped on live talking about homes, cars. We got 10 of them. He bought me this. He has his own. That energy wasn't quiet. It wasn't low-key. It was bold, flashy, confident. The same rhythm we've seen before, right before everything combusted. The internet noticed fast. Fans jumped into the comments saying, "Not the flexing again." Didn't we just go through this? Sis, breathe. But here's the thing. Tamar doesn't do slow. She goes all in, full volume, no seatbelt. And when history starts rhyming like that, people get nervous. Reports say that at a recent family gathering, things got tense fast. Allegedly, one sister tried to keep it light. Just casual questions about the new man, his business history, past relationships, financial structure. Nothing dramatic, just basic grown woman questions. But according to a source close to the situation, Tamar Braxton snapped. She allegedly said, "Y'all always think I'm crazy." And insiders claim that one sentence told you everything about the temperature in that room. Because when Tamar hears questions, she doesn't always hear protection, she hears judgment, she hears doubt, and that hits deep for her. Tamar has publicly said before that she felt misunderstood inside her own family. She's accused them of not protecting her, of not fully understanding her trauma, of not supporting her choices the way she needed. So when they raise eyebrows about a new relationship, she doesn't hear love, she hears betrayal. And that's where this starts getting complicated. Then it gets even messier. An anonymous tip reportedly hit a gossip page claiming this new boyfriend allegedly has a reputation for moving fast and flashy. Again, unverified, nothing confirmed. But the same phrase kept popping up in comment sections: love bomb, expensive gifts, big promises, instant intensity, all that fireworks energy right out the gate. And if you've followed Tamar's romantic history, you already know she doesn't shy away from grand gestures. She leans into them. That fairy tale energy pulls her in every time. And that's exactly what reportedly scares her sisters, because behind closed doors, they've allegedly watched this cycle before. Tamar falls hard. Tamar defends loud. Tamar pulls away when criticized. And when it unravels big. One alleged insider even claimed that a sister privately told a friend she's worried the pattern might be repeating again. Right now, nothing is proven. No documents, no official statements, just whispers and reactions. But when family members start asking careful questions and the answers come back sharp, that tells you this story is far from calm. One alleged insider said it straight: "I just don't want to watch her crash again." Crash. That word doesn't sound cute. It sounds painful. It sounds like deja vu nobody signed up for. And while that fear is floating around privately, Tamar Braxton is online glowing, smiling, posting selfies like nothing is shaking behind the scenes. The captions? Oh, they're layered. Cryptic lines about real men. Subtle digs that fans are reading as direct shade toward her exes. One post said, "When a man knows your worth, he doesn't play." And that sentence instantly had people connecting dots back to Jeremy Robinson. Because nobody forgot the whirlwind, the engagement, the split, the remarriage, the divorce, all in 61 days, the public credit card accusations, the basketball game moment involving Tommy Lee that had everybody talking. That wasn't quiet love. That was chaos with cameras on. Now Tamar is telling the world this new man is solid, stable, different. But the internet is cautious. They've seen the movie before and they remember the ending. Then came the twist that really made the room tense. Allegedly, during a recent phone call, one sister asked her directly, "Did you get therapy between them?" Between them. That question wasn't received softly, according to sources. Because Tamar has consistently said she's healing, she's growing, she's done the work, she's evolving. But insiders are whispering that healing needs time to settle, and if the emotional dust hasn't fully cleared before the next intense romance begins, that's risky. Unresolved trauma mixed with fast-moving love can create fireworks, and not the cute kind, the explosive kind. Right now, Tamar looks happy, confident, certain. But when family members start asking about therapy timelines and emotional space, that tells you this isn't just gossip. It's concern layered with history. And history has a loud memory. Then came the alleged blow-up. A neighbor reportedly overheard raised voices during a visit from one of the sisters. No clear details, no confirmed transcript, just whispers that it got heated. And the rumor? That Tamar Braxton accused them of not wanting her to be happy. That accusation cuts deep, because the sisters' history is already layered with reality show tension, financial stress, miscommunication, and emotional burnout. This family has lived their struggles in public for years, so when Tamar says, "You don't want me happy," that's not a light statement. That reopens old wounds. Now this new relationship isn't just about romance. It's about loyalty. It's about trust. It's about whether the family stands back quietly or steps in again. And longtime fans are nervous for one simple reason. Tamar doesn't move small. She lives loud. She doesn't wake up trying to create chaos, but she thrives inside intensity. And this new situation already feels loud, even if the man himself stays private. Because Tamar is celebrating heavy early, defending before she's attacked, explaining luxury before anybody even questioned it. That energy feels familiar. Too familiar. Sources claim the sisters have made a quiet pact. No public mess this time. No shady interviews. No subtle tweets. No dramatic clapbacks on camera. But privately, they're watching closely. They're asking questions. They're worried. Because if this new man turns out to be another Jeremy Robinson-level storm, the fallout won't just land on Tamar. It'll shake the whole family again. And when history has repeated itself before, silence doesn't mean peace. It means people are bracing. If this blows up, it won't just touch her. It hits the whole Braxton name. And the coldest whisper floating around? Someone allegedly said, "This one might be worse, because she thinks he's perfect." Perfect. That word is dangerous. When you think something is flawless, you stop checking for cracks, and cracks under pressure don't stay small. They split wide open. The tension didn't slowly build. It spiked. Just when Tamar Braxton seemed to quiet the noise with glowing captions and luxury flexes, a blind item dropped online and shifted the whole mood. The post claimed a recently divorced reality star was moving too fast with a wealthy businessman whose past relationships allegedly ended in explosive financial disputes. No names, no photos, just timing. And the timing felt loud. The internet didn't pause for confirmation. Timelines flooded instantly. Screenshots everywhere, threads breaking down every word like it was a coded message. Financial disputes, explosive endings, moves fast. Those phrases sounded familiar, almost identical to the concerns insiders say were raised privately. Then came another layer. A gossip account claimed it received a voice note from someone in Tamar's extended circle. The audio was reportedly distorted but urgent. The alleged message? "She doesn't know half of what he's done. We tried to tell her." Tried. That word carries weight. It suggests pushback. It suggests warnings weren't welcomed. Now sources are claiming one sister stepped in more directly than expected. Not gentle, not subtle, direct. Allegedly telling Tamar, "You are confusing intensity with stability." That line alone cuts deep, because intensity feels exciting, it feels powerful. But stability? Stability is quiet. It's consistent. It's boring to the outside world, but safe behind the scenes. Right now, none of this is confirmed. Just whispers, blind items, and alleged conversations. But when words like explosive and financial disputes start circling around a brand new romance, and family members reportedly raise their voices instead of glasses, that's when people start bracing for impact. That line hit hard because Tamar Braxton doesn't see intensity as a warning sign. She sees it as passion, fire, chemistry, but passion without patience. That's a storm waiting to happen. And storms don't knock politely before they tear the roof off. Instead of pulling back, Tamar reportedly doubled down. She posted another smiling clip from the passenger seat of a luxury truck, laughing and saying people are listening to the wrong narratives. The energy was bold, confident, unbothered. She talked about properties, cars, being taken care of, living good. But insiders are whispering that the flex isn't really for the public. It's for her sisters. It's proof. Proof she's safe. Proof she's secure. Proof this man is different from the last chapters. And when you feel like you have to prove something loudly, that usually means somebody close isn't convinced quietly. Then came the twist nobody expected. An anonymous tipster claimed Tamar recently had a heated phone call where she allegedly yelled, "You are jealous. I found happiness." Jealous? That word is explosive inside family dynamics because jealousy suggests sabotage. It suggests someone doesn't want you to win. And if Tamar truly believes her sisters are standing in the way of her happiness, that crack gets deeper fast. The next bombshell dropped late at night. A blogger known for insider exclusives hinted that this new boyfriend allegedly has unresolved legal matters tied to business dealings. Nothing criminal, nothing officially confirmed, but enough for the phrase complicated paperwork to start trending for a few hours. And the internet immediately connected that phrase to Tamar's past financial entanglements with Vincent Herbert, with David Adefisio, and with Jeremy Robinson. History has receipts. Tamar has never been afraid to merge worlds fast, emotionally and financially at the same time. And when love, money, family tension, and whispers about paperwork all start circling at once, that's when the pressure builds heavy. Nothing confirmed. No official statements, just patterns, timing, and a family watching closely. And that's the part that reportedly keeps the sisters up at night. Because once money mixes with love, untangling it gets brutal. Feelings fade, paperwork doesn't. Sources claim one sister allegedly asked Tamar straight up if she had signed anything yet. The fact that that question even came up says everything about the level of concern in that room. And Tamar reportedly fired back, "Stop treating me like I'm stupid." That line cuts deep. Because underneath all the glam and confidence, the real wound is clear. She doesn't want to be seen as reckless. She doesn't want to be the sister everyone has to rescue, but her history makes caution unavoidable, and that tension keeps flaring up. Meanwhile, the new man, almost completely silent in public, no interviews, no emotional captions, no messy posts, just quiet appearances and subtle cameos in Tamar Braxton's content. Some people call that maturity. Others call it strategy. Because let's be honest, in past relationships, the men eventually spoke. Vincent Herbert spoke. David Adefisio spoke. Jeremy Robinson definitely spoke. And when they did, they aired everything. So now the question sitting heavy in comment sections is simple but chilling. What happens when this one speaks? Because Tamar's love stories don't end quietly. When she falls, it's loud. When she defends, it's fierce. And when it breaks, it becomes public. Then came the alleged dinner moment that shifted the whole mood. A source claims that during a recent family gathering, one sister looked at Tamar and said, "We love you enough to be the villains." That sentence is powerful. It means they're willing to be misunderstood if it protects her. And when family says they're ready to be the bad guys just to keep you safe, that tells you this isn't gossip to them. It's history repeating in real time. And they're trying to stop the next headline before it writes itself. If it saves you. That sentence reportedly landed like thunder, because it means the sisters are willing to look unsupportive in public if it prevents another private crash. And according to sources, Tamar Braxton didn't break down. She stormed out angry, not tears. Fire. Because for Tamar, love feels personal. And when that love gets questioned, it feels like betrayal. Now here's the detail longtime fans are clocking. Tamar has reportedly started pulling back again. Less sister time, more time with him, skipping certain family functions, canceling appearances. That pattern, it's familiar, and when patterns repeat, outcomes often follow. That's what has people nervous. Meanwhile, social media is split in half. One side says, let her live. She deserves happiness. Stop policing her love life. The other side is practically pleading with her to slow down, to breathe, to heal fully, to stay single long enough to reset emotionally. The comment sections are heated. Then Tamar dropped a cryptic Instagram story that sent everything into overdrive. The quote read, "Don't let people who failed at love teach you how to love." No tag, no explanation, just vibes. But the timing? Perfectly placed. Fans instantly interpreted it as shade towards sisters, critics, anyone questioning her new king. But here's the deeper question. What if the sisters aren't trying to teach her how to love? What if they're trying to teach her how to protect herself? That's the part that keeps resurfacing in whispers. Because insiders are saying the family dynamic is fragile again, and the Braxton name has already survived enough public fractures. If this new relationship collapses loudly, it won't just be Tamar trending. It'll reopen old wounds, spark new headlines, and test family loyalty all over again. Right now, it's smiles and captions, luxury rides and confident posts. But behind that glow, there's tension building. And when history has a loud memory, people start bracing before the storm even hits. If this turns into another Braxton fallout, it won't just be messy, it'll be loud. And the most unsettling whisper yet? Someone allegedly said, if this one crashes, she won't recover quietly. That line alone raises the stakes. Because that means the sisters aren't just worried about heartbreak, they're worried about the aftermath. By the time the third wave of whispers hit the blogs, this stopped being just about Tamar Braxton's love life. It started feeling like survival mode. One source claiming to be close to the family's inner circle said the sisters have allegedly shifted from concerned to preparing. Preparing! That word changes the whole energy. They're not just asking gentle questions anymore. They're bracing for impact. Insiders claim that during a recent private conversation, one sister allegedly said, "If this goes left, we can't keep cleaning it up." Cleaning it up! That phrase implies history. It implies past damage control. It suggests that Tamar's emotional storms may have required family intervention more than once. And Tamar reportedly did not receive that quietly. Sources say she allegedly snapped back, "Nobody cleaned up anything. I survived everything." And technically, she's not wrong. She survived Vincent Herbert. She survived the public drama with David Adefeso. She survived the implosion with Jeremy Robinson. But here's the fracture point. Surviving isn't the same as healing. From Tamar's perspective, she's a fighter. She gets knocked down and stands back up. From her sister's perspective, they're tired. Tired of the cycle. Tired of the headlines. Tired of the emotional cleanup. Then something unexpected escalated everything. A former associate of this new boyfriend allegedly commented under a gossip post with a cryptic statement, No direct accusations, no clear explanation, just enough mystery to send the comment sections into panic mode. And when outside voices start entering a family situation that's already tense, that's when things can spiral fast. Because now it's not just internal whispers, it's public speculation layered on top of private fear. Then a comment popped up that made everything colder. Hope she reads contracts better than the last one. No context, no explanation. Just that line. Financial risk was the implication. The screenshot spread everywhere before the comment mysteriously disappeared, and when something vanishes like that, it only gets louder. Now fans are spiraling with questions. Is this man truly stable? Is his money solid? Or is Tamar Braxton blending emotions and finances again? Or is this just noise from outsiders with an agenda? The uncertainty is gasoline. Instead of pulling back, Tamar stepped forward. She posted another smiling clip saying, "My piece don't require approval." Strong statement, confident tone. But insiders claim that behind that post was a heated phone call. Allegedly, Tamar and one sister had a screaming match that ended with the sister saying, "We are not doing another intervention." Intervention. That word is heavy. It suggests history deeper than the public fully understands. Tamar reportedly hung up, blocked. Silence followed. And now isolation energy is creeping back in. Family group chats reportedly quieter. Sister dinners postponed. Communication thinner than before. Meanwhile, the new man is front and center. Sources say Tamar has been leaning into him even more since the tension began. And that's what raises concern, because when someone feels misunderstood by family, they often cling tighter to romance. It becomes comfort. It becomes validation. It becomes us against the world. Right now, it still smiles on camera, still luxury rides, still bold captions. But behind that glow, the temperature feels different. And when words like contracts, intervention, and "we can't clean it up again" start floating around the same story, people don't just watch, they brace. And when romance moves too fast, it starts feeling like a refuge. But refuges can quietly turn into traps. That's the fear floating around this situation right now. Social media is at full volume. Fans are pulling up old interviews of Tamar Braxton talking about how seriously she takes vows, clips of her saying she only knows how to be a wife, footage of her fiercely defending Jeremy Robinson before their divorce. It's like the internet is building a timeline brick by brick, and patterns don't lie. Then came an alleged leaked text. A screenshot circulated showing someone believed to be Tamar texting a friend, "I don't need saving, I need support." No confirmation on authenticity, no verified source. But the sentiment? It feels aligned with who Tamar has always been. She's never asked for rescue. She's asked for loyalty. But here's the uncomfortable truth people keep repeating in comment sections. Sometimes support sounds like warning, and sometimes warning feels like betrayal. That's the emotional tug-of-war happening here. Sources claim the sisters are exhausted. They've watched Tamar get swept up before, watched her defend men who later flipped narratives publicly, watched the headlines spiral, and they don't want to say, "We told you so," ever again. But they also don't want to sit silent and watch history repeat itself. Meanwhile, the new boyfriend remains silent. No interviews, no public statements, no addressing tension. Some call that maturity. Others call it calculated strategy. Because the quieter he stays, the more Tamar becomes his voice. And when Tamar speaks passionately, she tends to over-defend, over-commit, over-promise. Then came the final twist that pushed everything right to the edge late last night. And that's when the whispers stopped sounding like gossip and started sounding like a countdown. Late last night, another blind item lit the fuse. It hinted that Tamar Braxton may already be discussing long-term investments with this new man. Property, joint ventures, future plans, nothing confirmed, no documents. But for people who remember how fast finances blended in past chapters, that rumor alone was enough to spark panic. Because if she signs something too quickly, undoing it won't just cost money, it could cost peace. And peace is what everyone says she's been chasing. One alleged insider claimed a sister quietly said, "We can't survive another public divorce narrative." Survive! That word carries weight. It suggests the last rounds almost broke them. And honestly, maybe they did. The Braxton family has endured public grief, public tension, public financial strain. Adding another explosive love story into that mix, that's high risk. But here's the emotional core that makes this tragic. Not just messy. Tamar wants love that's loud. She wants to feel chosen, protected, prioritized. When someone mirrors that intensity, she runs toward it with her whole heart. The sisters? They want her safe, stable, grounded. They see intensity without proven longevity and immediately brace for collapse. Two different definitions of love. Two different definitions of protection. And right now, those definitions are crashing into each other. Then came the final whisper circulating across blogs. Someone allegedly said, if he leaves, she won't just be heartbroken, she'll be furious. And furious Tamar is not quiet. Furious Tamar doesn't retreat. Furious Tamar goes live. And that's the part that has everyone holding their breath. Because heartbreak trends for a day. But fury trends for weeks. That's why the sisters' alleged warnings don't sound like control. They sound like containment. Because if this new man turns out to be another flashy storm, the blast radius won't stop at Tamar. It hits the entire Braxton empire. Brand, legacy, family, peace, everything. And here's the part that makes this intense. Tamar doesn't look scared. She looks convinced. And when someone is convinced they've found forever, they ignore thunder until it's already pouring rain. That confidence can be beautiful. Or blinding. If you think this is just another celebrity dating headline, you're missing the bigger picture. This isn't just about a new boyfriend. This is about patterns, about family fractures, about whether love is healing her or repeating her. Because when someone with Tamar's history falls hard again, the countdown quietly begins. Either this becomes her redemption arc, the relationship that proves everyone wrong, or it becomes the loudest collapse yet. And if those blind items, those cryptic warnings, those alleged contract whispers turn out to be real, then we could be watching a situation that explodes in real time. So now it's your turn. Are her sisters genuinely protecting her or projecting their own fears? Does Tamar deserve to love loudly without being policed? Or are those red flags waving so hard that ignoring them is reckless? Sound off in the comments right now. Pick a side. Break down the pattern. Tell me, does this feel like growth or déjà vu? And if you want every single update the second it drops, hit that like button and subscribe to Juicy Reel. Turn your notifications on, because the moment anything leaks, any receipt surfaces, any live goes up, we're breaking it down immediately. Stay locked in. In Tamar's world, love is never quiet, and the next chapter could change everything.
Man for? You think I'm too? Huh?
Don't you go there.
Don't you? Man. Man. Don't you? Hold it. No. A superstar. You want to put your hands on me. I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Tony.
This is unacceptable behavior. I had to try to de-escalate it as much as I could. I didn't touch Tamar. I got in between she and Tony because Tony's smaller than Tamar. That's like a Rottweiler trying to fight a Yorkie.
Can someone please just pull the plug on the Braxton Sisters reality TV chaos already? This family has turned every season into a battlefield with no peace in sight.
Y'all don't like me because y'all jealous. You're a mean girl. Y'all lying. Oh, you're such a hater. Y'all hate me so bad. Oh my God. And mental illness is real. It's real. Oh, I'm crazy? Mental illness is real. Go ahead, Tony. I'm listening. I don't argue with sick people. Go ahead. Bitch, I will you up. Don't play with me. Do that. I swear to God. But you're not going to do for my mental health when all y'all really need to pick.
They've cycled through more therapists than most people change hairstyles, yet somehow the drama keeps exploding louder every time. It's like therapy sessions turned into war zones instead of healing circles. Tony and Tamar are back at it again, throwing verbal punches left and right. Tamar went off, asking Tony if she really slept with that other man, and the whole room froze. Then someone dropped another bomb, allegedly Birdman too. Like, seriously? Tawanda even jumped in, accusing Tony of messing with her own ex, which sent everyone spiraling.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them a few times.
Oh, what man?
You not get
talking about the Versus battle where Birdman, Manny Fresh, and other Cash Money artists hit
the shade, the tension, the absolute nerve. Now things have gotten so wild that they're threatening to have Tamar locked up. She's gone from emotional to explosive, screaming, crying, and lashing out like she's had enough of everyone's fake love. And Tony, she's not even playing the peacemaker anymore. Her calm queen energy has turned into straight coldness. Everyone's masks are slipping, and we're seeing who's really who in that family drama. The Braxton family feud has gone from entertaining to pure madness. No lines, no limits, and no turning back.
But her sister Tamar was loud and proud in the middle of the stage with her brother-in-law, and she was not only seen twerking and bopping her head to all the hits played from both sides.
Each sister's got secrets, and they're dragging each other through the mud on national TV. It's messy, emotional, and addictive. You can't look away for even a second. If there's one thing Tamar got right, it's that this whole family might need a serious mental health check and maybe a prescription or two, because the way these sisters been acting lately, it's not even close to normal. Nothing about their behavior screams peace. It's pure chaos, nonstop. Every episode feels like a breakdown waiting to happen. Now let's get into this wild Birdman situation, because that's where the drama really popped off. During one episode of The Braxtons, Tamar showed up to dinner with that "I know something y'all don't" look and started grilling her sisters about a cease and desist letter she mysteriously received at her private address. She wasn't even mad about the letter itself at first. It was how they got her new address that made her lose it. See, Tamar swore up and down that her home was under a different name for privacy, like most celebrities do, so for someone to get that info, someone close had to snitch. Fans online immediately started pointing fingers at Tawanda, Trina, or even Tony, accusing them of leaking her address. The family group chats must have been on fire that night because the tension on camera was unreal. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. The family's own attorney confirmed that Michael Braxton Jr., their brother, was actually the one who sent the cease and desist. The reason? They brought their niece Ashley onto the show without his blessing. But that reveal didn't calm Tamar down one bit. Instead, she exploded, saying it wasn't even about the letter anymore. It was about her sisters scheming behind her back. And just like that, what started as a dinner talk turned into a full-on Braxton battlefield. Voices raised, hands flying, tears, accusations. Pure madness. 1 minute it's about a letter, the next it's about betrayal, and suddenly everyone's dragging everyone. This family doesn't argue. They erupt. Things went from bad to straight explosive when Tamar started accusing Tawanda of stealing from her for years. Tamar claimed she had loaned Tawanda a whopping $50,000 to help with a down payment on a house, but Tawanda fired back saying it wasn't a loan at all. It was a gift of $35,000. That's a huge difference, and it didn't stop there. Tamar then dropped another bomb, saying Tawanda had been secretly using her credit card for 4 years to pay her own phone bill. Can you imagine? But Tawanda wasn't about to stay quiet. She flipped the whole thing and called Tamar the real thief. And then came the nuclear-level accusation. Tawanda said Tamar had slept with one of Tony's ex-boyfriends. The producers had to literally bleep out the name during the show so no one knew exactly who she was talking about. But that didn't stop fans from playing detective. Online, people started buzzing that the mystery man might have been Shamar Moore, one of Tony's old flames from way back. Others swore it was Birdman, claiming the affair went down years ago and just got buried under family drama. The theories were flying wild, and everyone had their own version of the truth. Then on the show, Tamar directly confronted Tony, asking if she really slept with her other man, and Tony's face said everything. That awkward silence, that look, it was giving pure Birdman vibes. Fans watching went crazy, convinced Tamar was throwing real shade right there on camera. And here's where it got even messier. Just days before this aired, fans were already side-eyeing Tamar for being too friendly with her brother-in-law, Birdman. It all happened at that Versus battle in Las Vegas when Birdman, Manny Fresh, and the Cash Money crew went up against Master P and No Limit. Cameras caught Tamar laughing, touching, and acting a little too cozy backstage, and social media exploded with clips. People were like, wait, is this the same Birdman Tony's with? The timing couldn't have been worse, and the Braxton family drama just hit a whole new level of scandal. Toni Braxton was nowhere to be seen on that stage, but her sister Tamar, she was front and center, owning the spotlight like it was her show. Cameras caught her dancing right next to Birdman, her brother-in-law, and fans could not believe what they were seeing. Tamar was twerking, laughing, and vibing hard to every track from both sides of the battle. But what really had people talking was how comfortable she looked with Birdman. At one point, she even leaned in to wipe sweat off his head, and that clip went viral in seconds. The internet exploded with outrage. Comment sections were flooded with fans saying, "Ain't no way that's okay, and you don't touch your sister's man like that." The whole thing spiraled fast. People were calling it disrespectful, messy, and downright suspicious. Tamar didn't say much at first, but her body language told the world she wasn't worried one bit. Then came the real plot twist. Rumors resurfaced that Tamar and Birdman actually dated way back in the early 2000s, long before Tony ever got with him. Back then, it was all hush-hush talk, just whispers floating around the industry. But insiders claimed the two were definitely close, maybe too close. Nobody had proof, but the way they moved together that night had fans saying, yeah, something's up. And honestly, when you put it all together, it suddenly makes sense why Tamar seems so comfortable around Birdman. That kind of chemistry doesn't come from nowhere. If those old rumors are true, it flips the whole situation, because that would make Tony the one who crossed the line, not Tamar. Imagine finding out your sister dated the man you're with now. That's wild. The Braxton drama just keeps getting deeper, and this one might be the most scandalous twist yet. Now here's where things take a shocking twist. Turns out Toni Braxton and Birdman actually got married, but what happened next had everyone's jaws on the floor. According to leaked court documents, the two secretly tied the knot on August 8th, 2024, but just 48 hours later, yes, 2 days, they were already separated. The paperwork used only their initials, TB and BW, probably hoping to keep it under wraps, but come on, it didn't take long for people to connect the dots. The documents clearly listed the marriage date and the split, August 10th, 2024, and just 2 weeks later, Tony filed for divorce. In the paperwork, she and her attorney described the marriage as irretrievably broken, which is basically legal talk for this relationship is done for good. The internet went wild trying to figure out what could have possibly gone wrong in just 2 days. But then, just when everyone thought it was officially over, Tony changed her mind. In January 2025, she quietly dismissed the divorce petition, and Birdman signed off too. That means as of right now, the two are still legally husband and wife, whether they're living together or not. And thanks to Tamar's recent chaos bringing old drama back into the spotlight, fans just found out that Tony and Birdman are still together behind the scenes. Now, the big question everyone's asking, why stay together after all that? Well, insiders claim Tony might be hanging on for financial security. She's had a long public history of money troubles, from bankruptcy filings to unpaid taxes, and Birdman's got the kind of cash that can keep things comfortable. Some fans even say Tony sees Birdman as her financial safety net, especially with her health issues and recent financial setbacks, whether it's love, loyalty, or just smart survival. One thing's for sure, Tony's playing this game her way. And Birdman, he's clearly not letting go either. This marriage might be messy, but it's far from over. People online are saying Tony and Birdman couldn't be more different, like total opposites who somehow ended up in the same storm. Word is, their marriage might have been more of a business arrangement than a fairy tale love story, and honestly, that wouldn't surprise anyone at this point. The vibe between them has always felt complicated, like something's being held together by image, not emotion. Now, whether Birdman was actually the man in question from Tamar's accusations still isn't confirmed, but just the rumor of it had Toni Braxton completely losing her cool. Tony snapped, saying that Tamar loves being infamous more than famous, and that she's beyond disappointed in her sister's behavior. She even admitted she's been paying her own publicist to clean up Tamar's messy image online. Imagine having to hire a whole team just to manage your sister's social media drama. That's wild. And fans were quick to point out, Tony's emotional reaction made way more sense if Tamar was talking about Birdman all along, especially since rumors have been swirling that Tamar and Birdman dated first. The tension suddenly made sense. This wasn't just about family, it was about a love triangle wrapped in years of resentment and buried secrets. But Tamar wasn't sitting quietly while Tony threw shade. Oh no, she came with receipts. Tamar started dropping her own claims, saying that Tony isn't as innocent as people think. She even said it was Tony's idea to bring their niece Ashley onto the show, the same niece who later spilled some jaw-dropping tea of her own. Ashley revealed that her father, Michael Braxton Jr., and her stepmom once found inappropriate text messages between Ashley and one of her aunt's partners, and that partner turned out to be Trina's ex, Gabe. The whole situation was disturbing and messy, and fans couldn't believe how deep the Braxton family web of drama really goes. Every time you think you've heard the worst of it, another layer peels back, and it's always more scandalous than before. When Ashley first told her aunt what happened, she said her aunt was loving and heartbroken over the situation, showing real emotion and concern. But as time passed, something changed. Ashley claimed her aunt's attitude shifted completely, almost like she started to side with the wrong person. As Ashley got older, she said it began to sink in just how strange it was that her aunt stayed with that same partner even after everything that went down. That's when things took a dark turn. Apparently, her aunt started blaming Ashley instead, saying she was part of the problem. The betrayal there is unreal. So Tamar brought Ashley onto the show to finally speak her truth. But here's the kicker. Tamar said it was actually Tony's idea to include her niece in the storyline. That set off a whole chain reaction of family drama because now fans don't even know who's really telling the truth. Was Tamar trying to help Ashley heal, or just using her pain to stir up the pot and get revenge on her sisters? A lot of viewers think Tamar had an ulterior motive, not genuine concern, but pure payback. They believe she's exploiting her niece's trauma to throw shade at her sisters and grab headlines. And honestly, that theory doesn't sound too far-fetched considering how every Braxton scandal seems to end up benefiting Tamar somehow. But if you look closer, the real story here goes deeper than Tony versus Tamar. It's about Ashley, a young woman trying to find her voice while being dragged into her family's chaos for TV ratings. She's become the centerpiece of this messy season, carrying the emotional weight of grown adults' drama on her shoulders. And now, she's the one catching all the backlash online, people calling her a liar, a pawn, or worse, while the sisters keep going back and forth like it's just another episode. It's heartbreaking and scandalous all at once. Turns out, it really was Tony's idea to bring Ashley onto the show, not Tamar's. That revelation flipped everything upside down and made Tamar's next accusations hit even harder. Tamar went off, saying her sisters have been secretly jealous of her for years and that they love to gaslight her every time she opens up about her emotions. She said they twist her mental health battles into weapons just to make her look unstable on camera. And honestly, that's a low blow. In Tamar's own words, "You're not going to guilt me over having depression and anxiety, especially when half of that came from y'all." And you know what? That hit deep, because if that's true, it's seriously messed up. Imagine fighting your own mind while your family turns your struggles into insults. That's beyond cruel. Tamar's been loud and honest about her mental health journey, so watching her sisters use it against her on national TV, that's wild. She also clapped back at the whole cease and desist situation, questioning what her mental health had to do with any of that. She told them straight up she didn't do or say anything to deserve a legal threat, calling the whole thing ridiculous. Tamar made it clear that dinner wasn't about to become her mental illness coming out party for her sister's entertainment. She wasn't letting anyone turn her vulnerability into reality TV content again, and honestly, she sounded like she meant every word. Tamar reminded everyone that she's been transparent about her depression and anxiety for years and that she's actively getting help. She even revealed she talks to a counselor multiple times a week, both on and off set, proving she's doing the work to stay healthy despite the chaos around her. It's heartbreaking and powerful at the same time. A woman trying to protect her peace while her own family keeps stirring the storm. This isn't just family drama anymore. It's emotional warfare with cameras rolling. But just when everyone thought Tamar was finally standing her ground, things spiraled right back into chaos. Her sisters weren't having it, especially Tawanda, who rolled her eyes mid-conversation and muttered something under her breath that set Tamar off instantly. Cameras caught Tamar slamming her fork down, shouting that she's done being the family's punching bag. The energy in that room, pure fire and tension, like decades of resentment exploding in real time. Tony tried to stay calm, but her voice started to shake too. She told Tamar she's tired of walking on eggshells and that the family has to protect their brand. That's when Tamar snapped, yelling that her mental health isn't bad for the brand. It's bad because of the brand. The whole table went silent after that line. Even Trina and Tawanda looked stunned, like Tamar had finally said the one thing everyone was too scared to admit out loud. And the internet ate it up. Fans online were divided, half saying they finally understand why Tamar feels so isolated, and the other half calling her dramatic for making everything about herself. But one thing's clear, the Braxton sisters' wounds run way deeper than what we see on TV. This isn't just sibling rivalry anymore. It's pain that's been festering for years, now spilling out for the world to judge. Later in the episode, Tamar stormed off set in tears saying she didn't want to be filmed anymore. But the cameras kept rolling as producers tried to calm her down behind the scenes. She shouted that she's been loyal, honest, and open, and that everyone in her family keeps betraying her for ratings. "I'm not your storyline," she cried, and you could feel every ounce of that heartbreak. Meanwhile, Tony sat in silence, staring into space like she was processing everything. Maybe guilt, maybe exhaustion, or maybe realizing how far gone things really are. Because at this point, the Braxton family's bond looks shattered. And if Tamar decides to walk away for good, this might be the end of the show as we know it, or the start of something even messier. Stay tuned for the final piece, and don't forget to hit subscribe to Juicy Reel so you don't miss the next wild twist. After that explosive dinner, the Braxton family hasn't been the same. Cameras caught them barely speaking during filming, and producers had to edit around silent tension just to keep the show moving. The energy is heavy, like everyone's walking through emotional landmines. Tamar's been avoiding family events, while Tony's keeping her distance, focusing on music and trying to look unbothered online. But fans aren't buying it. They can feel the tension even through Instagram posts and staged smiles. Rumors are now flying that Tamar's ready to quit the show completely, saying she's tired of being the villain in her own family's story. Insiders claim she's working on her own docuseries, one that'll expose the truth behind all the fake sisterhood we've been seeing on TV. And honestly, people would watch the hell out of that. The girl's been through public breakups, career setbacks, and family betrayal. She's got a story to tell, and fans are dying to hear her unfiltered side. Meanwhile, Tony and Birdman are still confusing everyone. One minute they're split, the next they're spotted leaving a studio together late at night. Some say Tony's just trying to protect her image while figuring things out behind the scenes, while others think she's holding on because of loyalty or money. Either way, their situation screams complicated. Tawanda and Trina, they're caught in the middle, trying to keep peace while still throwing little bits of shade when cameras are rolling. Every confession scene turns into a mini therapy session mixed with a clapback. You can see the exhaustion in their eyes, but also the addiction. Because let's be real, the fame and drama keep them relevant. The Braxton legacy used to be about harmony, sisterhood, and soul. But now, it's turning into one of reality TV's most unpredictable sagas. From love triangles to betrayals to emotional breakdowns, it's a roller coaster you just can't look away from. And whether you're Team Tamar, Team Tony, or just here for the drama, one thing's for sure, this family feud is far from over. So keep your popcorn ready because with the Braxtons, every episode feels like a finale. Tamar later made it crystal clear she's perfectly fine, just tired of everyone weaponizing her vulnerability like it's entertainment. She said her emotions aren't a storyline, they're real life, and she's done letting people twist her pain for TV views. And this time, the internet actually had her back. Fans flooded social media defending her, saying her sisters have been gaslighting her for years and turning her genuine hurt into a punchline. They said Tamar's outbursts aren't drama, they're cries for help that keep getting ignored. But things got even messier when Tawanda allegedly started pushing Tony to press charges against Tamar. Like, who does that to their own sister? Fans online were furious, calling it heartless and unnecessary. Many said the family's completely lost sight of what matters, that they're so deep in their TV roles they forgot how to be a real family. Still, not everyone was on Tamar's side. Some viewers said they've had enough of the constant crying, yelling, and chaos, calling her emotionally exhausting and saying she needs to step away from the cameras for good. One commenter even wrote, "The whole Braxton family needs a reality TV break permanently." And honestly, after all this, who could argue with that? The drama's gotten so toxic, it's hard to tell what's real anymore. Are these women trying to heal or just keeping the ratings alive? Every argument, every tear, every shocking revelation has blurred the line between reality and performance. But one thing's for sure, this family's love story has turned into one of reality TV's most explosive sagas ever. So here's the big question. Did Tony really flip out because Tamar brought up Birdman, or is there more to it than we know? Are the sisters truly gaslighting Tamar, or is she spinning the narrative herself? Either way, the Braxtons have the world watching, waiting for the next meltdown, the next confession, the next betrayal. Drop your thoughts below, because this one's got everyone talking. And if you live for the drama, scandals, and secrets, make sure you subscribe to Juicy Real, where we keep it raw, real, and juicy.
Tony. I think everybody was shocked when we found out that these two actually got married. I know, like, there's a lot of things we will do in order to pay our bills, but I never thought the relationship between Tony and Birdman was genuine. I just knew that he was just willing to go broke behind her. It just never fit. And so apparently in August of last year in 2024, they had a secret wedding. Finally got married in secret, even though everything else was public. And then she went and tried to annul the marriage 2 weeks.
Looks like the so-called #1 stunner just got stunned. Birdman, yes, that Birdman is out here spilling the kind of tea nobody saw coming.
Came back.
Yeah. I think it's when I was first diagnosed with having lupus, I was so down, I was so depressed, and the doctors told me I would never be able to work again, your music career is over, but the man upstairs had a whole other plan for me.
Yeah.
But at the time,
The man's finally talking, and let's just say, it's ugly. Word on the street is that Birdman's blasting Toni Braxton like never before, claiming she left him flat once the money train ran out. He's saying Toni packed up and dipped the second things got tight, leaving him high, dry, and counting coins. According to him, the moment his pockets stopped overflowing, Toni ghosted like a magician with a smoke bomb.
I don't know, 2016, November, when I was on tour, October, I was really sick. I don't mean kind of sick. I mean like really,
From the
really
lupus?
sick.
Or
I had a
from-
really
okay.
bad flare, and I was on tour. And every day I was on tour, he was there with me. If he left out, he would come back.
And this is before anybody knew you guys.
We weren't
were
anything. It was
like-
buddies. It was
Right.
nothing. Not even a day. He was my friend. He was there. I don't know if
he
ever
already loved you.
He's there every day taking care of you. But he really was there every day. My buddy, my friend. You all right? You good? And I'm cheering good. He was just there as my friend. I'm cheering good. Big Mama good. He was there every day for the shows. And on my off days, he would go and take care of his business, but he would follow me on the bus and just make sure I was okay. And I don't know if you've ever been really, really sick in your life and you feel kind of hopeless and you got somebody who's a friend that's there. That's kind of, it just made me see him differently.
And now the whispers are getting louder. Folks are saying she's back on the edge of going broke again. But let's keep it real. This ain't Toni's first money storm. The woman's been through not one, but 2 bankruptcies and still came out flashing designer bags, diamonds, and 5-star vacations like the queen of glam she is. From her mansion life to her designer addiction, Toni's always acted like her credit cards got no limit. So when Birdman started talking, everyone started connecting the dots, and the story's looking way less like a love song and more like a revenge track. According to Birdman, what looked like a fairy tale was really just a setup, a romance dipped in luxury but soaked in lies.
Me and him have been friends for 16 years.
I know you had a song like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
too,
we've
right?
been like besties for a long time.
People always say that.
No, this is real. Like no cross the line.
Besties, like you always kept in touch and you always talked.
We would keep in touch. He would come see me when I had my plays. When I had my baby shower, he would come. Like we were really friends.
Meanwhile, Toni's camp ain't staying quiet either. They're clapping back, calling Birdman bitter and saying he's rewriting history just to save face. Still, people can't help but wonder, did Toni really play him? Did she finesse the mogul who once called himself the boss of bosses? Because if Birdman's telling the truth, this might just be one of the biggest heartbreak hustles in R&B history. And the drama, it's just getting started. Oh no, this drama's way deeper than anybody expected. What started as a breakup rumor just turned into a full-blown money mystery. We're talking shady bank trails, secret deals, and whispers that could make even Hollywood blush. And get this, insiders are saying this might go down as one of the wildest relationship exposés in all of R&B history. But it gets even crazier. Reports claim Toni tried to slide out of her short-lived marriage to Birdman with a jaw-dropping $160 million divorce payout after being married for less than a month. Yes, you heard that right. 1 month. That's not bold. That's billionaire-level boldness. And apparently, she didn't even make it through the honeymoon phase. Allegedly, Toni packed her bags and peaced out just 2 days after the wedding. 2 days. Then, before anyone could blink, less than 4 weeks later, she filed for divorce, calling the marriage irretrievably broken and saying there was no chance of fixing it. That's when the drama hit the stratosphere. If that $160 million number's even half true, this isn't about love gone wrong. This is next level audacity. Fans are stunned, asking how a marriage that barely lasted a blink could come with a payout that massive. Like, who even signs a deal like that? And now, everyone's side-eyeing the whole situation. Was it love, or was it a luxury hustle from the start? With Toni's history of financial chaos and taste for the finer things, people are starting to suspect this wedding might have been less about romance and more about a grand plan. Did she play chess while Birdman thought it was checkers? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure. This breakup's shaping up to be a scandal for the ages. Now the streets are straight up buzzing with one burning question. Did Miss Unbreak My Heart really tie the knot with the #1 stunner just to cash out and disappear? Like, hold up. She wanted how much for 2 days of marriage? Folks can't stop talking about how Tamar Braxton allegedly believed she deserved a $160 million payout after barely making it past the honeymoon suite. That's not just wild. That's legendary level boldness. And honestly, how did Birdman not see this coming? Fans online are calling it plain and simple, saying Toni pulled a classic gold digger move. And when you look at the timeline, it's hard not to raise an eyebrow. I mean, who files for divorce before the wedding flowers even wilt and still thinks they deserve a whole empire? Yeah, Birdman and Toni officially split back in 2019. But you know how messy love stories never stay buried. By 2023, Birdman claims Toni started creeping back into the picture, sending signals, dropping flirty hints, and making sure he knew she was still around. According to him, she came back smooth, acting like nothing ever happened, charming, smiling, and playing the same sweet tune that got him hooked the first time. At first, Birdman says he tried to keep his distance. He wasn't trying to fall for the same trap twice. He told people he had moved on and wanted no part of that drama again. But if you believe his side of things, Toni didn't quit that easy. She kept popping up, showing face at events, and tugging at those old emotions like she knew exactly what strings to pull. It's giving deja vu, and fans can't help but wonder, was this another love story in the making, or just a setup for round 2 of heartbreak and headlines? Whatever it was, it had everybody glued to their screens, waiting for the next move in the wildest R&B saga of the decade. I know you had a song like 15 years ago too, right? Someone asked. And that's when things started to spark again. What began as casual talk turned into late night convos, throwback memories, and soon enough, Toni and Birdman were right back where they left off. The chemistry was undeniable, and before long, they rekindled that flame for real. They got close, stayed inseparable for about a year, and then finally made it official, tying the knot on August 8th, 2024. Fans thought it was a comeback love story for the ages. But hold up, because that's exactly where everything flipped upside down. Just 2 days later, yes, only 48 hours after saying, "I do," Toni filed for divorce. You read that right. Court documents straight from her side say they officially separated on August 10th, 2024. People online lost their minds trying to figure out what could have possibly gone down in that tiny window. Like, what kind of chaos hits right after the wedding cake's been cut? And when the news dropped that Toni was allegedly asking for a $160 million payout, social media completely exploded. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Everyone had something to say. Some were calling her a legend for the fastest divorce in celeb history, while others called it the boldest money grab they'd ever seen. Even 50 Cent couldn't resist throwing shade. He hopped on Instagram and joked, "Now watch, women are gonna say, well, if you stuck it out for 16 years, you deserve to be paid." Then he twisted the knife with a slick punchline saying, "Not 16 years, for 2 days." The comment section went wild, laughing, arguing, and turning the whole thing into a meme fest overnight. Word on the street is Birdman's convinced Tony was never in it for love, just the cash. And honestly, after seeing how fast she went from bride to ex-wife, can anyone blame him for thinking that? The man's net worth is sitting around $160 million, and people are saying Tony aimed straight for the jackpot. It's got everyone wondering, was it heartbreak or was it a high-stakes hustle dressed up in wedding white? Either way, Tony didn't even make it a full week before hitting him with those divorce papers. And that's the kind of twist even Hollywood couldn't script better. She was out before the ink on the marriage license even dried. Like blink, and you'd have missed the whole marriage. Insiders are saying Birdman is furious. He's demanding that Tony put some respect on his name. And word is, he's been dragging her behind the scenes ever since. But this time, he's not whispering. He's calling her out loud and clear. No filters, no sugarcoating, no fake smiles. According to Birdman's camp, he's labeling Tony straight up as a gold digger. Birdman feels like he got played, and not just a little bit. He feels like he got hustled by one of the smoothest in the game. And guess what? Some folks close to the situation are actually backing him up. Allegedly, Tony didn't just stop at trying to snatch his money through the courts. She supposedly tried to flip some of his jewelry too. Yeah, you heard that right. Insiders claim she had her eyes locked on his high-end pieces and even made moves to sell them off when she couldn't get her hands on the cash directly. That's not just bold. That's next level fearless. But honestly, are we even surprised anymore? Tony's money history has been shaky for decades. Back in the 90s, she was one of the biggest stars on the planet. Millions of albums sold, global fame, chart-topping hits, and that iconic voice that defined a whole era. She had everything, the looks, the talent, the success, but somehow the money never seemed to last. Despite being at the top of the world, Tony still ended up broke, not once, but twice. And each time, she bounced back glammed up like nothing ever happened. So now, with Birdman calling her out and the receipts stacking up, people are starting to wonder, is this just history repeating itself, or was the whole marriage part of the same pattern all along? Back in 1998, Tamar Braxton shocked the world when she filed for bankruptcy for the very first time, and the media lost its mind. Nobody could wrap their head around how a superstar of her level, dripping in Grammys and chart toppers, could lose it all just like that. But before she could even catch her breath, the chaos rolled straight into 1999, and the headlines only got nastier. Every tabloid in the game dragged her name through the mud, calling her out for wild spending sprees and luxury habits she clearly couldn't afford. In an attempt to clear her name, Tony went on Oprah, thinking she could fix her image. But that plan backfired fast. Oprah didn't play nice. She looked Tony dead in the eye and grilled her about her spending, questioning why she was buying designer everything while her finances were falling apart. And instead of owning up, Tony clapped back hard, accusing Oprah of being too harsh and painting herself as the victim right there on national TV. The tension was thick, and the moment went down as one of the most awkward interviews in talk show history. For a little while after that, it seemed like Tony got her act together. She bounced back, dropped new music, and for a brief moment, her money game looked stable again. The comeback looked strong, glamorous, confident, and shiny enough to fool the world into thinking she'd learned her lesson. But that illusion cracked wide open again when 2010 hit. Tamar Braxton filed for bankruptcy again, and this time it was a total financial disaster. Reports said she was drowning in debt, somewhere between $10 million and $50 million. That's not a simple, oops, I overspent moment. That's a full-blown financial meltdown. Tony claimed the downfall came after her Las Vegas residency got canceled due to a serious heart condition, but insiders say that was only part of the story. Behind closed doors, things were messy. There were tangled up insurance disputes, drama over medical coverage, and a mountain of unpaid taxes piling up faster than anyone could count. By the time it all came to light, fans didn't know what to think anymore. Was she cursed with bad luck? Or just trapped in her own pattern of money chaos? Either way, it painted a picture of a woman living large, falling hard, and somehow always landing right back in the spotlight. Since then, Tony's been fighting hard to stay afloat, but the numbers don't lie, and they're not looking pretty. Her music just hasn't been hitting like it used to. Her last album barely sold 7,000 copies and peaked at number 163 on the Billboard 200. A shocking drop for someone who once ruled the R&B charts like royalty. The album before that did a little better, moving about 16,000 copies, but still, that's a far cry from the chart-topping dominance she once had. For a legend who used to own the radio, those numbers scream one thing: trouble. With album sales falling through the floor, Tony had to pivot fast. And that's when she started leaning heavy on Braxton family values. Her family's reality show that once had everyone hooked. For a while, it worked. The drama, the sister fights, the tears, it all kept her name buzzing and the checks rolling in. But as time went on, the shine started to fade. Viewers moved on, ratings slipped, and the show that once kept her brand alive started to lose its magic. Without fresh hits or a major project keeping her in the spotlight, the pressure started building again. Bills, business moves, and that high-end lifestyle catching up quick. And that's when fans started side-eyeing her reunion with Birdman, wondering if it was really about rekindling old love or just a strategic move for survival. Rumors were already swirling that Tony was this close to filing for bankruptcy for the third time. And then, just like that, boom! She pops back up with Birdman after 4 years of silence. The timing had people talking nonstop. Some said it was fate, others called it a financial rescue mission. Whatever the reason, it sure didn't look like coincidence. Because when a star starts falling and suddenly reappears next to a millionaire ex, you already know the internet's gonna have questions, and this time, nobody's buying the fairy tale. The timing was way too perfect, and people noticed immediately. What was supposed to look like a sweet reunion suddenly had everyone side-eyeing hard. It wasn't giving, "I miss my man." It was giving, "I need that cash." The whole thing just fell off. When Tony and Birdman got back together in 2023, fans couldn't make sense of it. After years of saying it was over for good, Tony had made it crystal clear that the chapter was closed. She even said, "Who do you think I am? Don't you know that he was my man?" That sounded final. So when she suddenly spun the block and started cozying up to Birdman again, the internet went wild. People were like, what changed? It was a full 180, and the energy didn't feel romantic. It felt calculated. Fans started whispering that the reunion wasn't about love, but about leverage. And now that Birdman's calling her out publicly and airing every dirty detail, a lot of folks are convinced this was all a setup from the start. A strategic money move, not some long-lost love story. Even before this latest mess hit the blogs, fans were already catching on. There had been tension brewing between them for a while. You could see it if you knew where to look. Remember that painfully awkward moment on the Tamron Hall show back in 2022? Tony was there to open up about her lupus diagnosis. It was supposed to be a heartfelt, emotional interview. But the second Tamron mentioned Birdman's name, everything changed. Tony's face went cold, her shoulders tensed up, and her whole vibe shifted instantly. She dodged eye contact, gave short answers, and looked like she wanted to be anywhere but there. You could feel the discomfort through the screen. It was like watching someone's poker face crumble in real time. Fans who caught that moment are now replaying it like detectives, saying that interview was the first clue, the warning sign that not everything about Birdman and Tony was as real as it seemed. Because when love's genuine, it shows. But when money's involved, the truth always leaks out eventually. Tony once said, "I'm just not feeling it anymore." But then, out of nowhere, she spun the block and came right back like nothing ever happened. Everyone was left scratching their heads, totally confused. And now, with all this new drama blowing up, it's starting to look less like a love story and more like a calculated move. Because let's be real, the Tony and Birdman saga has been messy from day one. They've been on and off since 2016, and even when they were on, their whole relationship never really made sense to anyone. One minute, they were just friends, the next minute, they were engaged, and then, boom, silence. No wedding, no updates, no pictures, just cryptic interviews and awkward dodges whenever someone brought it up. The vibes were weird. Let's rewind to 2018 when Birdman decided to make it official. He went all out, dropped to one knee with a $5 million yellow diamond ring. It was massive, flashy, and absolutely over the top. Cameras went crazy, fans were screaming, and for a minute, it really looked like a fairy tale moment. But behind the scenes, crickets. No date, no real plans, nothing but confusion. It started giving publicity stunt, not wedding bells. Every few months, Tony would tell interviewers the same thing, that the wedding was just postponed, blaming it on timing or busy schedules. But fans weren't buying it for a second. They could tell something wasn't right. Too many delays, too many excuses, too much mystery. Then came the final red flag that had everyone's jaw on the floor. Tony claims she lost the $5 million engagement ring. Yes, you read that right. $5 million just gone. No explanation, no recovery, just vanished into thin air. Fans were like, how do you misplace a diamond the size of a planet? It didn't make sense. And that's when people really started questioning everything about her and Birdman's so-called love story. Was it a real romance? Or was someone just playing the long game for headlines and money moves? Because that kind of disappearance doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises alarms. Tony claims she accidentally left it on a flight, like it was nothing. Just another lost earring or phone charger. But come on now, a $5 million ring? That explanation had everyone scratching their heads. How do you misplace something that massive and just shrug it off like it's no big deal? Fans were stunned. The media went wild. And now, looking back at all the red flags, the awkward interviews, the missing ring, the endless wedding delays, people are finally putting the puzzle together because it's starting to look like this whole situation might have been about one thing and one thing only: securing that Birdman bankroll. Sure, the man got his bag back, but that $5 million diamond, gone without a trace, vanished into thin air like a magic trick nobody wanted to see. I mean, seriously, how do you lose a diamond that could probably be seen from space? Now the streets are whispering and the whispers are getting louder. Folks are saying Tony didn't lose that ring at all. Word is, she pawned it to pay off her debts. And honestly, with her long, rocky financial history, people aren't even surprised anymore. Insiders close to the situation claim Tony was desperate, drowning in debt, scrambling to stay above water. And when you're backed into a financial corner, you do what you gotta do. That ring was reportedly the most valuable thing she owned at the time, and allegedly, she saw it as her only real way out. At first, Birdman didn't even trip. He believed her story, stayed calm, and played it cool in interviews. He brushed it off like a gentleman, saying accidents happen. But that chill vibe didn't last long. Because if the rumors are true, when he eventually found out that the ring wasn't lost at all, that it had allegedly been sold behind his back, that's when everything exploded. Birdman was heated. Their love story officially crashed and burned, leaving nothing but tension, betrayal, and a $5 million mystery that still has the internet talking. And now, fans are wondering, was the ring ever really about love, or was it always about the money? One thing's for sure, this saga's far from over. And if you thought this drama was wild, just wait till the next twist drops. Don't forget to subscribe to Juicy Reel for more exclusive, scandal-packed stories that'll keep you glued to the screen.
Tawanda and her husband Sean hopped on live, and the way they were talking about Tamar had everyone watching like, wow. They were really out here calling her a wicked spirit and acting like they don't mess with anyone who moves like that. This wasn't just shade. This was full-on drama exploding right on camera. So let's break this down, because we all know what they were really hinting at. Tamar didn't get invited to that wedding, even though Tawanda originally tried to act like Tamar was supposed to be involved in everything. She pushed this whole story about Tamar dropping the ball, but later the truth slid out, and it was messy.
I really want to give it no energy like that, but I'm gonna speak for myself. Me. This is not her speaking. This is me speaking. I've gotten to a place in my life where things start to transform from face to frequency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. And
Tamar wasn't welcome from the start, and that changes the whole vibe of this situation. But here's where it gets even more wild. Sean is in the middle of this like he's on the front line of a family feud. Why is he even chiming in this hard? This is between sisters, and suddenly he's all loud in the mix like he's the spokesperson for the whole situation. It's giving unnecessary energy, and honestly, someone should have tapped him on the shoulder and said, relax, this ain't your lane. This whole thing could have stayed peaceful, but nope, they took it straight to the internet and let it blow up for everyone to see. The tension, the secrets, the fakery, everything is spilling out now. If you want the tea to keep pouring, stick around, because this story is just getting started. This whole situation was supposed to stay between sisters, but they're the ones dragging it onto the internet like it's a public event. They're out here saying Tamar is some wicked, wicked spirit and acting like she's walking around full of the devil, which is wild to throw around so casually. Meanwhile, people got stories about credit cards being used, the money being borrowed without ever being paid back, but somehow that gets no energy at all. The double standard is loud.
love people, and I love them with as much as I have to give. So if my cup is empty, I'm not going to be pouring to you. I have to go put more in my cup. And what I mean by changing from face to frequency is that you might know somebody, you might grow up with somebody, you might be family members with somebody, you might be friends, you might, whatever it looked like. Cantor Simmons, shout out to Cantor Simmons. He's one of my best men. The faces of who and the realities of relationships fade away, and then you start to be more attracted to the frequency that you are on. And I'm not out here looking for what looks nice. I'm not out here looking for what smells nice or what feels nice. I'm looking for what is frequency nice. So I don't care about none of that anything. If you're not matching that, I will pour into you my extra, but I'm not putting myself at a deficit or letting you like sap all my good energy, make me sad, make me upset, have me engaging in triggers and all of that, and talking down about people or talking gossiping or calling people like they name or fighting or any of that. I ain't doing it, bruh.
Nope.
I ain't doing it. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I don't care if you my mama, my sister, my twin, Jesus. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I ain't spent.
So in that live session they did, they tried to explain why Tamar wasn't around. But instead of just saying the truth, they spun the whole thing like she's the problem every time. They kept pushing this image of Tamar being wicked every way but loose, like they needed the audience to see her as the villain no matter what. It felt more like a performance than a real explanation. And let's be honest, we've all seen how things go down. Every time something blows up, Tamar gets blamed before the situation is even fully understood. They jump straight to pointing fingers, saying her behavior is terrible, saying she's always doing something wrong, acting like she's the source of every issue in the family. It's exhausting to watch. But anyone who watched the show knows the truth. They all like the same way. The drama, the attitudes, the slip-ups, everyone has their moments. The only real difference is that they team up to gaslight Tamar and make her look like the one causing trouble. It's like they found the easiest target and stuck with it every single time. Tamar's opened up so many times about what she went through with her family, including the abuse she experienced, so it always feels strange when they keep painting her as the main problem. They act like she's the storm bringing chaos, but then you look at Tawanda's history and suddenly the picture changes real quick.
I'm talking to the third person. You talk crazy to me, and I'm like, at what point do I defend myself?
You could just get exhausted with the same behavior over and over and over again. I know I was exhausted.
And it wasn't warranted, and I'm not excusing it, and I'm not willing to accept that behavior anymore in my life.
Tawanda, you took a girl's credit card and didn't pay her money back, and somehow that never gets treated like an issue at all. How does that behavior get swept under the rug while Tamar gets dragged nonstop? And the wildest part is, people have alleged for years that Tawanda has a habit of taking things, yet the family still circles back to point at Tamar like she's the one causing all the trouble. It's like they're trying to distract everyone by throwing shade in one direction instead of addressing what's actually happening. The whole thing feels off. Then Tawanda has the nerve to say that Tamar is simply exhausting, like she's the one draining everybody around her. I know plenty of exhausting folks, trust me, but one thing I will never do is ask those same exhausting people to lend me $35, $50, $5,000, or anything at all. If someone is so exhausting and full of all these so-called spirits, why are you still going to them for help? That part never makes sense. Because clearly Tamar wasn't too exhausting when it came to her credit card being used.
No, she's not coming to my wedding.
She's not coming to the wedding?
No.
No, are you sure?
I'm so positive.
What do we think about her behavior? The other day.
I think it was unacceptable. Entirely unacceptable.
I was pretty upset at myself for allowing a situation to affect me that way.
I get it. Certain things, even as sisters, I wouldn't necessarily spew out.
People have been saying that Tawanda was allegedly using Tamar's credit card to pay her phone bill. 6 phone lines for 4 years. 4 years is not an accident, that's a system. And on top of that, Tamar gave her money, and for some reason, that money never made its way back to Tamar. How is Tamar the villain when she's the one getting drained financially? And the story doesn't stop there, because the debts were allegedly thrown into a bankruptcy, which is a serious thing. And yes, that bankruptcy is real, it's public record, and anyone can look it up. I even checked it myself before talking about it. If you want the receipts, go watch that breakdown, because the information is all there. If you're ready for more of this messy saga, stay locked in. It only gets crazier from here. They keep claiming Tamar is some nasty spirit, but somehow Tawanda still hasn't paid that lady her money back. How does that work? You can't call someone negative while still holding on to the cash they fronted you. Tamar literally put down your down payment, Tawanda. Yes, she sure did. And all you had to say was thank you, like that was the end of the story. The math is not mathing.
And in 2 seconds on that jump. And I love you and I mean it. I wish the best for you. I hope you find all the happiness in your life. But everybody at this house, them 2 kids and that woman upstairs that I'm responsible for, we not plugging into that. I don't care what it is.
Nope. We're not plugging, we're not pouring, we're not entertaining, we're not doing any of that. And what people need to understand is it's not our responsibility to nurture your triggers. That's no one's responsibility but yours. Period.
Yep.
We're not coddling anything other than peace, happiness, and joy. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And if you can't vibrate up, then you have to vibrate out.
That's it. And here's the thing. This is not coming from a place of hate, meanness. I will speak for myself. I sincerely, from the core of who I am, hope that every spirit, soul on this earth finds their purpose, finds their passion, finds the people that support them, finds the people that encourages them, that cheerleads for them, and that they can do that for everyone else in their circle and be led by their source.
Right.
That's what I want for everybody.
Right.
I just do. And ain't nothing you gonna do gonna change that. But what I have control over, me, and what I will allow in my space, in my home, on my phone, or in my car, like I have a choice to make there.
Yeah.
And that choice is love. That choice is peace. I've tried before. I've tried to pull people. I've tried to be like, hey, let me show you. I'm not doing that. And she ain't doing it either. We love you. We rather look towards the hills for what's coming our help.
Come on now. Come on, honey.
It's Good Friday.
Honestly, Tawanda is the one who feels exhausting out here because she always comes off like she specializes in using people and sliding out of paying them back. The clip proves it. When everything wrapped, Tamar said, "Oh, it was a gift." And Tawanda, in that usual sarcastic tone she does so well, made sure Tamar understood exactly what she meant. That whole vibe screamed, "Yep, you gave it to me, and I'm not returning a cent." That type of energy tells on itself. And let's keep it real. Using someone's money to buy a house and cover a down payment, then brushing it off like it was nothing, that's wild behavior. Tamar reminded her she was supposed to get that money back, and instead of repayment, the next thing she gets is paperwork from the bankruptcy court. That's respectful on a different level. And yes, that bankruptcy was real and on record. It's not a rumor. Tawanda actually included Tamar in that mess. But then they went live and started calling Tamar negative energy, saying she's carrying spirits and all types of dramatic things. They tried to make it sound like Tamar's this reckless storm blowing through their lives. Yet when you look at the facts, the only real storm is the one around the money and the way everything got handled. The narrative doesn't match the reality at all. This family definitely has issues, no one's denying that, but putting all the blame on Tamar just because it's easy is wrong. You can't twist the whole situation to make her the villain every single time, especially when she's the one who keeps getting taken advantage of. Things are messy, but they're not messy just because of her.
On your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you
you
got
so
this
much for
little
the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a gift.
Promise to God. Yes, it was. But it's
no, you
okay.
didn't. Tawanda told me her lender needed to see the money in her account and that she was waiting on a check and she would be giving me my money back. I was reluctant, but I said, okay.
Thank you so much.
You said I will pay you back the next day, and then you listed me as a creditor.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
So now
Now here's where things get even wilder. Because in this same live, they tried to flip the script again and make Tamar look like she's the one carrying all this chaos. They kept tossing around those negative energy labels like it was nothing, acting like she's the root of every problem in the whole family. But anytime real situations come up, money not paid back, credit lines stretched, shady decisions, suddenly it gets quiet. And somehow Tamar becomes the distraction instead of the victim. It's unbelievable. Tawanda keeps talking like she's above all this, but let's be honest, she moves real slick when it comes to anything involving money or responsibility. One minute she's sweet, the next she's sarcastic, and all of it is just her way of dodging accountability. And the wild part is, she makes it seem like Tamar is the unstable one when Tamar is literally just asking for what's hers back. That's not chaos, that's someone trying to stand up for themselves. And remember, this isn't the first time the family has tried to rewrite the storyline. Every time something becomes inconvenient, they suddenly forget details, switch up the tone, or twist things to make Tamar look like the problem. It's like they've made a group decision that she's the easy target, and they keep running with it like it's a family hobby. It's messy, and it's unfair. But the audience isn't blind, people can see the patterns. Every time Tamar brings receipts or shares her truth, the room gets real silent. People start shifting, mumbling, or trying to change the subject. That alone tells you who's really stirring the pot. The loudest ones pointing fingers are usually the ones hiding the biggest secrets, and this whole situation is starting to look exactly like that. And you already know, once the truth starts cracking through the surface, everything the family tried to hide is going to spill out, whether they like it or not. This drama is far from over. What really threw me off in that live is how Sean would not stop talking, like he was the spokesperson of a family he didn't even grow up with. He only knows what Tawanda told him, so jumping in like he's some inside expert made the whole thing feel extra messy. As a husband, he should support his wife, sure, but he didn't need to be loud in a situation he barely understands. Sometimes staying quiet is the smartest move, and he missed that memo. But of course, Sean kept talking like he was leading the conversation, and Tawanda just nodded along like everything he said was the absolute truth. Then she dropped that line about how it's not her responsibility to nurture your triggers, talking about Tamar's triggers like she's above all that. She really said if someone can't vibrate up, then vibrate out, which sounds cute until you remember the actual situation behind the scenes. Because, let's be real, anybody would have an attitude if they helped someone, gave them money, and then that person kept using their credit card without paying it back. So when Tawanda starts throwing around that vibrate up or vibrate out talk, the question becomes, does that apply to her too? Especially with all the stories about the money, the credit cards, and everything that mysteriously never got returned. That part needs some real clarity. And the truth is, you can't just look at one piece of this family drama and think it explains everything. This family has layers on layers of issues. Every single person has their own mess, their own stories, their own hurt, and their own responsibility in how things fell apart. It's deeper than one argument or one disagreement. This stuff has been building for years. People honestly believe Tawanda is mad and maybe even jealous because Tamar is who she is, loud, successful, recognized, and unapologetic. And you would think Tawanda would have moved past that by now, but somehow she still seems comfortable asking for Tamar's low-energy money. The contradiction is wild, and the public is definitely paying attention. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this situation just keeps getting messier. And if you want more breakdowns, more drama, and more tea, make sure you hit that subscribe button on Juicy Reel. You don't want to miss what's coming next.
So my thing, I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
and
that.
now that
Thank
you got
so
this
much
little
for the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to-
Supposed to say anything. The only thing that brings us together is the cameras.
I can't wait
But
to
I won't
see
be
it.
able to be there. That's why I was calling you.
That made me very sad.
I know.
Let's dive into this because the Braxton family drama just flipped into something wild and straight up unbelievable. This whole situation between Tamar and Tawanda is way deeper than people thought, and it's loaded with broken trust, big money, and sisters turning on each other when they were supposed to be tight like glue. We're talking about $50,000. Not pocket change, not let me borrow a little something, but a real down payment.
Has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill.
My phone bill?
Now, Tony.
Beautiful.
So what?
Tamar handed Tawanda that money to lock in a house, a full-on place to live, something serious. But now Tawanda is out here acting like the cash was just some friendly gift, like Tamar just handed her 50 grand for fun. That's wild. And here's the thing. This isn't some random rumor someone made up online. There's a real property tied to this whole mess, a real listing, and actual receipts that link everything together.
I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you got
so
this
much
little
for the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to God. Yes, it was. But it's
no, you
okay.
didn't.
The same house that popped up on their reality show lines up perfectly with what Tamar talked about. And that makes everything hit even harder. It's not just talk. It's real-life proof sitting in plain sight. What makes everything even more shocking is how the rest of the sisters decided to play it. Tony, Trina, all of them apparently knew exactly what went down, but instead of helping clear Tamar's name, they stood back and let people think she was being dramatic or even making stuff up. That's rough, especially when it's family and you expect them to step up when stuff gets messy.
You didn't. Tawanda told me her lender needed to see the money in her account and that she was waiting on a check and she would be giving me my money back. I was reluctant, but I said, okay.
Thank you so much.
You said I will pay you back the next day, and then you listed me as a creditor.
Oh my.
This whole thing is already sounding like the beginning of a storm, and it's only the first layer of the drama. That's cold on a whole different level, especially when you know someone is already battling their own mental and emotional struggles. Tamar has always kept it real about the things she's faced. She never hid that. So for her own family to gaslight her on national TV like she was confused or making things up, that's harsh. And here's the wild part. Tamar straight up told Tawanda on the show, I paid your down payment, and Tawanda didn't deny anything. She didn't argue. She didn't correct her. She actually thanked her right there in front of everybody. So how in the world does that suddenly turn into, it was a gift? Come on now. That's not how real agreements work, and everybody knows it.
It was absolutely a gift. And it wasn't that I approached her. She said, but I want to help you get, it's like, okay. And that's just something that we used to do as sisters, help each other.
The burden on you is the one that made it out. But you gotta be willing to let them fly. I feel like I do. I feel like they don't let me.
What's making this whole situation even louder is what people have been whispering about Tawanda's money habits. Folks have been saying she's had issues with spending and borrowing before, and now everything Tamar said is starting to look way too real. Tamar even mentioned that Tawanda came into some money, something tied to a lawsuit or settlement, and even then she still didn't pay her back. That's the part that's got everyone raising their eyebrows. At this point, it's getting hard to defend Tawanda's actions because the whole thing looks less like sisterly support and way more like a straight-up betrayal. Seeing your own sister struggling and still acting like you don't owe her anything, that hits different. And listen, watching Tamar stay firm while everyone around her acted clueless, That speaks volumes. This was never just about the money. This was about loyalty, respect, and the truth being ignored while the whole world was watching. This part right here really exposes everything, because how are you living in a nice house, looking comfortable, pockets looking all right, but you still can't pay back the sister who helped you when you were down? That's the type of thing that makes people question everything, and that's wild for real. If someone comes through for you with that kind of support when you're struggling, the least you can do is make things right. Now let's break this down, because once you look at the real estate side of the story, the truth starts slipping out fast. When you're buying a house, every single dollar has to be tracked and explained. No mystery cash, no, it just showed up. None of that. The bank needs proof of where the money came from and exactly who sent it. You can get help from a family member, sure, but it all has to be in writing with full documentation, because lenders don't play around with big amounts. So if Tamar really transferred $50,000 to Tawanda, that clearly wasn't some casual, here, take this as a gift moment. This sounds much more like a short-term loan to make Tawanda look financially ready for the home purchase, the type of thing people do when they're trying to get approved and need their bank statements to look solid. That's why Tawanda suddenly calling it a gift doesn't match how real estate works at all. The numbers don't add up, the story doesn't line up, and the timing makes the whole thing look even more suspicious. It feels like someone changed the narrative after the fact. And here's where it goes, from messy to straight up unbelievable. Tamar reportedly said Tawanda promised she would return the money the very next day, like it was supposed to be a quick turnaround. But instead of paying her back, Tamar later finds out Tawanda listed her as a creditor in her bankruptcy case. That means Tawanda officially put Tamar on paperwork as someone she owed money to, even though she was publicly claiming the money was a gift. That twist right there is the kind of thing that makes people stop and go, wait, what? This whole situation just keeps getting more intense with every detail. Like what? That's bold on a whole different level. Let me break this down real quick, because this part right here is where things start looking real shady. Now, I'm not saying Tawanda actually did this, but some folks out there will list someone as a creditor in their bankruptcy just so the debt gets wiped clean. That way, they don't have to pay back the person who helped them in the first place. And guess who ends up losing? The same person who stepped up for them when they were struggling. That's messed up. And here's the part that makes everybody's eyebrows shoot up. There are real bankruptcy filings with Tamar's name on them, and it's public record. That alone backs up what Tamar has been saying from the jump. This isn't some rumor floating around. This is actual paperwork filed with the court. That gives the story a whole different weight. Now let's talk about the timeline, because it hits hard. Tawanda bought her home in 2018, right? But by April 2019, she was already filing for bankruptcy. That's barely a year later. So what does that tell you? She took the $50,000, closed on the property, then turned around and filed for bankruptcy, like wiping her sister off the debt meant nothing. If that doesn't look like a setup, then what does? At this point, it really starts to feel like Tawanda never planned to pay Tamar back in the first place. And to make everything even stranger, Tamar says it was $50,000, while Tawanda keeps insisting it was only $35,000. Why can't the numbers even match up? How do you misremember tens of thousands of dollars? Somebody is clearly twisting the story, and it's not hard to see who benefits the most from all this confusion. You know what's wild? That whole $35,000 versus $50,000 argument actually makes sense once you really think about it. If someone borrowed money all the way back in 2018, and we're only talking about it now, years later, the amount could have easily gone up just from interest alone. So that difference Tawanda keeps talking about might not be some mystery. It might just be the result of her waiting forever to pay back what she owed. And let's keep it real. Tamar had proof. This wasn't some friendly little, oh, here's a sweet gift moment. There were receipts, documents, and actual bankruptcy records showing she was supposed to be repaid. So for Tawanda to sit there and act like the money was just a gift, that's not just wrong. That's straight up gaslighting your own sister while the whole world is watching. Like, how do you take something that serious and twist it into something casual just to protect your image? That's wild. Tawanda even tried to flip the story and make it look like Tamar was offering help she never asked for, trying to paint Tamar as controlling, like she was using money to hold something over her. But come on now, this wasn't the first time Tamar stepped in to help her. According to reports, Tamar had been covering Tawanda's phone bills. Not one line, not two lines. 6 phone lines, all on Tamar's own credit card. 6. Who even needs that many lines? That's not helping out a sister. That's taking advantage of somebody's kindness until they're drained. And here's the part that blows my mind even more. Tamar wasn't out here bragging about any of this. She wasn't running around telling everyone what she paid for or trying to embarrass anyone. She kept it quiet until the whole situation pushed her to speak up because things were getting twisted beyond recognition. That's when you know someone has really reached their limit. After all that, Tawanda had the nerve to act like she's the victim, like Tamar is the bad one just because she finally called her out. Come on now. If this were anybody else, people would be calling it exactly what it looks like, straight up taking someone's money and pretending nothing happened. Tamar had every right to take legal action, and the fact that she didn't shows how much she still cared about keeping the family together instead of seeking revenge. But instead of supporting her, the rest of the Braxton crew, Trina, Tony, even their mother Evelyn, all seemed to slide onto Tawanda's side. They actually defended her, and that's wild to see. There were even rumors going around that they wanted to call the police on Tamar, the same person who lost the money. How does that even make sense? How do you protect the one who took the money and turn on the one who trusted them? Somebody needs to explain that logic because it's not lining up at all. At this point, the whole situation is screaming jealousy and favoritism from miles away. It's clear some of the sisters can't stand how Tamar always finds herself in the spotlight, and instead of dealing with their own feelings, they gang up on her like that's going to fix anything, and Tawanda trying to deflect by bringing up Tony's condo situation. Please. There's a huge difference between asking your sister if she's staying somewhere temporarily and taking her money or using her credit cards without permission. One is a simple conversation, the other is a whole crime. Trying to lump those things together doesn't make Tawanda look innocent. It makes her look like she's scrambling to shift blame onto anything and anyone else. This part right here shows how twisted the whole thing became because instead of honesty and accountability, it turned into blame games and finger pointing. What really gets me is how Tony and Trina acted through all of this. They knew exactly what Tawanda did, the credit card situation, the money, all of it, and they still stood by her like nothing happened. How do you watch your own sister cross the line like that and still defend her? That's not loyalty. That's straight up enabling bad behavior. And here's the part that really hits. Tony even admitted on camera that she knew what was going on. She literally confirmed it herself. So that means the whole family knew the truth from the start. But instead of speaking up, they all circled around Tawanda like they were protecting her from the consequences. That's sad, because that's not what real family support looks like. That's not protecting someone. That's covering up wrongdoing just to keep the family image polished. And Tony's reaction, that little smug smirk when she said, "Family helps each other." Excuse me, since when does taking someone's money count as helping? Since when does taking $50,000, filing bankruptcy to dodge repayment, and maxing out your sister's credit card turn into family helping family? Be serious. That's not family support. That's taking advantage of someone who trusted you. And Tony's calm, unbothered attitude while all this was playing out just shows how deep the cracks run in that family when it comes to loyalty and fairness. Some people get protected no matter what they do, and some people get blamed no matter what they didn't do. But let's get to the part that sent chills down my spine. Tamar said, "You don't want to go blow for blow with me." That line right there showed she was sitting on a whole mountain of truths she'd been holding back for years. It made everything feel 10 times heavier, like this drama wasn't even close to being over. "I know where the bodies are buried. That's not just a comeback. That's a straight-up warning shot." That line tells me Tamar is sitting on way more receipts, way more secrets, and way more truth than anybody in that family wants to face. She was basically saying, "I've been quiet long enough, but if you push me, I'll drop everything." And honestly, after watching how her own family treated her, who could blame her if she finally let it all out? Because let's keep it real. Tamar got painted as the crazy one, the liar, the problem, the dramatic sister who always made things bigger than they were. But when you actually look at the paperwork, the dates, the money trail, everything lines up with exactly what she's been saying since day one. The proof is literally sitting right there in black and white. Let's break it down one more time. Tawanda gets the house in 2018 using Tamar's $50,000, and cool. But not even a year later, in 2019, she files for bankruptcy and lists Tamar as a creditor, which wipes out the debt completely. Then you've got the credit card situation. Unauthorized spending, multiple charges, and Tamar footing the bill without even knowing it first. And still, not one sister stepped up to defend Tamar. Not one single voice saying, "Hey, she's telling the truth." Instead, they all stayed quiet, acting like it was minor drama, brushing it off like it didn't matter. Why? Let's be honest. It comes down to jealousy, favoritism, or maybe a messy mix of both. Whatever the reason is, it's toxic. The truth is this: the Braxton sisters, especially Tawanda, betrayed Tamar in a way that cuts deep, period. Let's call it what it is. Tawanda acted like a sister who couldn't handle Tamar shining brighter, and instead of owning her actions, she slid into shady territory. And instead of holding her accountable, the family just turned their heads and let everything slide like it was normal. And what's worse, this wasn't a one-time slip-up. This was a pattern, a whole cycle of ignoring Tamar's side and protecting the one who caused the damage. This part right here shows how twisted the family dynamics really were, and how much Tamar had to swallow just to keep the peace. Every single detail from Tamar's side, the money, the documents, the public records, all of it lines up perfectly. The evidence does not lie, and yet her sisters still threw her under the bus like none of it mattered. That's the part that hits the hardest, because the way they gaslighted Tamar in front of everybody was honestly sickening. Picture this: you lend your sister $50,000 out of pure love, just trying to help her get back on her feet. No drama, no pressure, just family supporting family. Then she doesn't pay you back, files bankruptcy to wipe the whole thing away, and somehow still flips the story to make you look unstable. That's not just sneaky. That's cold and calculated. And what makes it even worse is how the rest of the family played along like nothing was wrong, acting like Tamar was being too much or extra just for telling the truth. That's manipulation, emotional pressure dressed up as family loyalty, and it's exhausting watching someone get painted as dramatic when all they did was speak facts. Let's be honest, Tamar has had one of the strongest careers out of all the sisters besides Tony. She built her own lane, dropped hits, had major TV moments, created iconic moments, and earned real success that people still talk about. And you know what comes with success? Jealousy. And you can feel it heavy in this situation. It's like Tawanda couldn't stand watching Tamar win while she was still struggling. So what did she do? She found a way to benefit from Tamar's kindness, took advantage of her support, and when the truth came to the surface, she played the victim like she was the one wronged. And instead of correcting things, the rest of the family closed ranks around Tawanda like the whole situation was just a misunderstanding. They acted like nothing happened, like Tamar was making noise for no reason, like the evidence wasn't sitting right there in plain sight. This right here shows exactly how deep the jealousy and favoritism runs, and how fast people will flip a story when someone else's success makes them uncomfortable. What does that really say? It tells Tamar loud and clear that her money is good enough for them, but her feelings don't matter. Her truth doesn't matter. It's basically saying, we'd rather protect the one who did wrong than the one who got wronged. That's not loyalty. That's toxicity, wrapped up in a pretty bow and labeled family. Because real family doesn't cover up lies or defend someone's bad actions just because they share the same last name. Real family checks you when you're wrong, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. That's what accountability is supposed to look like. And for anybody trying to shrug this off as just family drama, let's be serious for a second. This isn't some petty argument or little disagreement. We're talking about fraud, financial betrayal, and straight-up theft. Tamar could have pressed charges if she wanted to. She had every right to, but she didn't. And why? Because she still loved her sister enough to protect her, even after being hurt. And what did she get back in return? Lies, denial, public embarrassment. Tawanda acting innocent after everything that happened is next-level boldness. Tamar gave her grace, and Tawanda turned that grace into another weapon against her. And you know what makes this whole situation even more twisted? The way Tamar's silence has been flipped and used against her. People see her staying quiet and think she's over it or being dramatic, but that's not what silence always means. Sometimes being quiet comes from being done, not defeated. She's had to sit back and watch her family rewrite the story in real time, acting like things happen differently, acting like she's exaggerating, acting like the truth is optional, and instead of defending her, they used her vulnerability as a tool to make her look unstable, like her pain didn't count, like her voice wasn't worth listening to. This wasn't just betrayal. It was emotional pressure dressed up as family loyalty. And seeing her pushed aside like that says everything about how deep the divide really is. That's not peace, that's pressure. Behind the scenes, insiders have said Tamar has been distancing herself from all the chaos for real. No more family vacations, no more group interviews, no more pretending everything is sunshine when it's not. She's choosing her peace, and honestly, that might be the smartest move she's ever made. Because what do you do when your own bloodline becomes the source of your pain? You protect yourself, even if it means stepping away from the people you love the most. Sometimes survival means creating distance, even if it hurts. Meanwhile, Tawanda has been moving like nothing ever went down, smiling online, doing interviews, acting unbothered, like her whole reputation isn't hanging by a thread. It's almost like she's trying to outshine the scandal by pretending it never existed, like if she ignores it long enough, everybody else will too. But the internet doesn't forget. Every time her name comes up, people still mention that bankruptcy filing and that missing $50,000. That's a stain no PR trick, no interview, and no pretending can wash away. What makes this even more heartbreaking is how divided the fan base is now. Some folks are still praying the sisters can work things out someday, but a lot of people are completely done. They see the pattern clear as day. Every single time Tamar tells her truth, the family gaslights her until she looks like the villain in her own story. It's a cycle, a deep, messy cycle, and this time it feels like she's finally breaking it. She's choosing herself, choosing her healing, choosing peace over pretending. And honestly, this whole situation shows how fame, money, and pride can wreck a family from the inside out. The Braxton name used to represent unity, talent, and sisterhood, but now it's tangled up with betrayal, jealousy, and silence that says way more than words ever could. Tamar's story isn't just about the money. It's about the emotional hit that comes from loving people who keep proving they don't love you the same way back. And the saddest part, that wound didn't come from strangers. It came from home. At this point, it's hard not to shake your head at how deep this betrayal really runs. It's one thing to make a mistake, but it's a whole different level of boldness to keep pretending nothing ever happened while the person you hurt is left carrying all the weight. Tamar tried to protect her sister, tried to keep the peace, tried to hold the family together, and somehow she still got painted as the villain. That kind of emotional damage, no amount of money could ever fix that. You can feel the shift too. The vibe between the sisters isn't what it used to be. Every interview, every post, every moment they're seen together, there's this quiet tension that speaks louder than words ever could. And even though Tamar has been staying silent, that silence is powerful. Sometimes the strongest clapback is peace, and it's starting to show exactly who's been in the wrong all along. Meanwhile, watching Tawanda act like everything's smooth while the receipts are out in the open, whew! That's a whole different level of audacity. She's smiling for the cameras, posting online like nothing ever went down. But let's be real, the internet does not forget. People remember the filings, the money trail, the credit card drama, every loose detail that still doesn't add up. And every single time Tawanda's name starts trending, those same stories pop right back up. You can try your hardest to clean up your image, but you can't erase the truth, especially when the truth is sitting in public records. And honestly, this whole situation is a reminder that sometimes family drama hits harder than anything else. Because betrayal from someone who shares your blood, that cut hits deeper than anything. Tamar deserved honesty, not humiliation. Support, not silence. Truth, not twisted narratives. And after watching how everything went down, nobody can blame her for stepping back to protect her peace. That's the full breakdown, the truth behind the Braxton chaos. So drop your thoughts in the comments because this one has the whole internet divided. Do you think Tamar should finally air everything out or let it go for good? And before you scroll away, make sure you hit that subscribe button because more shocking celebrity twists and messy receipts are coming your way. And if you really want to keep the drama rolling, subscribe to the Juicy Real channel. That's where the real tea never sleeps.
I'm the baby, or whatever you want to call me, and the youngest. I could be the most opinionated, but I'm not the worst on the planet because I always come back for y'all. I always come back for them to help them.
You know, I'm always tell you the truth, and I hear you, and I know it's not easy, but you gotta try to figure out. And again, I don't know the answer. I don't know the path forward or how to get to a resolution or resolve. It's just, but you can't keep putting yourself through all of.
Tamar jumps into this episode and she's straight up emotional, saying her own sisters don't even vibe with her like that. She basically admits that she feels pushed out the circle, like they don't see her as real family anymore, and that hits heavy.
Coming? No, she's not coming to my wedding.
She's not coming to the wedding?
No.
No, are you sure?
I'm so positive.
What do we think about her behavior? The other day.
I think it was unacceptable. Entirely unacceptable.
I was pretty upset at myself for allowing a situation to affect me that way.
I get it. Certain things, even as sisters, I wouldn't necessarily spew out.
those words weren't slipped out by accident, she said it with her chest, and you can feel how long she's been holding that in. She talks about how the energy between them is off, like she's the odd one out every time she walks into the room. And even though she's hurting, she still says she wants to fix things, which shows she's not giving up on this bond. She's not shutting the door, she's not throwing shade for fun, she's genuinely trying to pull the family back together. But here's the wild part. Why does she even feel this disconnected in the first place? What happened behind closed doors that got her feeling like she's standing outside her own house, knocking to be let in? If her sisters really care, wouldn't they show it? And if they do care, then what's blocking them from showing love the same way she's asking for it?
So Tamar sits down with, I believe the lady she's speaking with, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe her name is Taz. She expressed emotions on pretty much working things out with her sisters, being able to sit down, work it out. She's ready, as long as they're ready, open, and willing. But what I learned is during that time, well, we know the.
So now I gotta ask you, do you think her sisters actually want to deal with her, or are they keeping her at arm's length for a reason? And if they do want a relationship, then why is Tamar carrying this heavy feeling that she's not part of the sisterhood anymore? So Tamar sits down with this lady, and if I'm not mistaken, her name is Taz, and she's really opening up about wanting to fix things with her sisters. She's talking from the heart, saying she's willing to sit down, talk it out, and finally put all this tension to rest as long as everybody else is open and ready too.
Show is filmed in advance, but Tawanda and her husband did a live, and it looks like they had a whole bunch to say about Tamar. So although Tamar is feeling like she may want to reconcile, it doesn't seem like Tawanda wants to reconcile with Tamar at all.
Like Cantor Simmons, shouts out to Cantor Simmons. He's one of my best men. The faces of who and the realities of relationships fade away, and then you start to be more attracted to the frequency that you are on. And I'm not out here looking for what looks nice. I'm not out here looking for what smells nice or what feels nice. I'm looking for what is frequency nice. So I don't care about none of that anything. If you're not matching that, I will pour into you my extra, but I'm not putting myself at a deficit or letting you like sap all my good energy, make me sad, make me upset, have me engaging in triggers and all of that, and talking down about people or talking gossiping or calling people like they name or fighting or any of that. I ain't doing it, bruh.
Nope.
I ain't doing it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you my mama, my sister, my twin, Jesus. It don't matter.
Yeah.
She's not running from the smoke. She's saying, I'm here. Let's deal with it. And that takes guts. But here's where it gets messy. Even though Tamar is ready to settle things, the timing of everything tells a different story. We all know the show is filmed ahead of time, but while these scenes were playing out, Tawanda and her husband went live online, and they had a whole lot to say about Tamar. That wasn't some quiet little side comment. They were speaking loud and clear, and it didn't sound like love at all.
I ain't spending 2 seconds on that junk. And I love you and I mean it. I wish the best for you. I hope you find all the happiness in your life. But everybody at this house, them 2 kids and that woman upstairs that I'm responsible for, we not plugging into that. I don't care what it is.
Nope. We're not plugging, we're not pouring, we're not entertaining, we're not doing any of that. And what people need to understand is it's not our responsibility to nurture your triggers. That's no one's responsibility but yours. Period.
Yep.
We're not coddling anything other than peace, happiness, and joy. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And if you can't vibrate up, then you have to vibrate out.
That's it. And here's the thing. This is not coming from a place of hate, meanness. I will speak for myself. I sincerely, from the core of who I am, hope that every spirit, soul on this earth finds their purpose, finds their passion, finds the people that support them, finds the people that encourages them, that cheerleads for them, and that they can do that for everyone else in their circle and be led by their source.
Right.
That's what I want for everybody.
Right.
I just do. And ain't nothing you gonna do gonna change that. But what I have control over, me, and what I will allow in my space, in my home, on my phone, in my car, like I have a choice to make there.
Yeah.
And that choice is love. That choice is peace. I've tried before. I've tried to pull people. I've tried to be like, hey, let me show you. I'm not doing that. And she ain't doing it either. We love you. We rather look towards the hills for what's coming our help.
Come on now. Come on, honey.
It's Good Friday.
So while Tamara's out here says she wants peace, it looks like Tawanda isn't matching that energy one bit. It really doesn't seem like she's trying to reconcile or sit at any table with Tamar, and that's a huge red flag for anyone hoping this family would work things out soon. The vibe is off, the tone is cold, and the divide is looking deeper than what Tamar even realized. And when the episode shows Tamar breaking down, you can tell this isn't some dramatic moment for cameras. She's genuinely hurt. She says straight up, they don't like me, and she's in tears while explaining how all these issues didn't just pop up yesterday. They've been going on for a long time. It's like she's carrying years of feeling pushed aside, ignored, or misunderstood, and it finally hit her too hard to keep it inside. This whole situation is getting heavy fast. So now the real question kicks in. What's the actual solution here? Because Tamar could not keep putting herself through the same hurt over and over again like this. At some point, you got to stop walking into the same fire, expecting it not to burn you again, and that's exactly the kind of emotional cycle she's trapped in. From what the show revealed, one thing is crystal clear. Tawanda does not mess with Tamar, and it shows every time her name comes up. Whatever the root of the drama is, it's been boiling for years. There were those allegations that Tamar used Tawanda's credit card to cover a phone bill, and that's the type of thing that sticks with family even if both sides tell the story differently. Then there was the whole situation where Tawanda lent her money and Tamar turned around acting like it was a gift. That moment alone caused a huge crack in their bond. And let's not forget the drama where Tawanda told everyone Tamar didn't show up, even though she had actually uninvited her. That's wild. That kind of move hits deep because it twists the narrative and leaves Tamar looking wrong when she wasn't even given a fair chance. These aren't small disagreements. These are the type of moments that break trust permanently. So even though Tamar is out here crying saying she wants to fix things, Tawanda is given a completely different energy. During that live with her husband, she made it very clear, without naming names, that she's not babysitting grown people's behavior, and the tone was obviously aimed at Tamar. She wasn't hinting, she was straight up saying she does not want to deal with her. And the biggest shock? Even with Tamar showing she wants peace, Tawanda still hit her with a loud and clear no, especially when it came to her wedding. She practically said, don't let this lady come to my wedding. And that's not a soft boundary, that's a hard block. This shows the damage between them is way deeper than what we're seeing on screen. And now, here's where things really take a turn. Because while Tamar is sitting there wanting peace, wanting closeness, wanting that sister bond back, the energy she's getting from the other side is icy. It's like she's reaching out her hand and they're stepping back every time. That kind of tension doesn't happen overnight. That's years of hurt piled up with nobody cleaning up the mess. And when Tawanda made it clear she didn't want Tamar at her wedding, that wasn't just a small not today moment. That was a straight up message. Weddings are supposed to be family events, right? If you block your own sister from stepping foot in the building, that means things have gone way past petty arguments or small misunderstandings. It means trust is broken, feelings have been bruised, and nobody's trying to fix the cracks. But here's the part that hits even harder. Tamara's confused because she's still trying. She's emotional. She's open. She's saying she wants resolution, yet she's standing alone while her sisters move like she's the problem every time. That kind of rejection hits the soul, and you could see it in her face when she talked about not being liked. She wasn't putting on a show. She was speaking from a place of real pain. So now we're all left wondering what went down behind closed doors that made this bond crumble like this. How do sisters get to a place where one is crying for connection and the others are setting up boundaries strong enough to keep her out of major life moments? This drama is getting deeper by the second. And now we reach the heavy question everyone's been circling around. If Tamara's out here crying for unity, but her sisters are shutting the door every time she knocks, what does that really say about where this family stands? It's like Tamara's fighting for a seat at a table that her own sisters keep pulling away from her. And that kind of emotional tug of war can break anyone down. Tamar keeps saying she doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel wanted, doesn't feel included, and honestly, her tears told the whole story without her even needing to explain it. You could see it in her voice, her body language, everything. This isn't drama for cameras. This is someone who's been carrying hurt for way too long. And when someone reaches that level of pain, it means the problems didn't start yesterday. This has been building for years. Meanwhile, her sisters move like they're done trying, done talking, done giving chances. They act like there's no space left for healing, no room for a fresh start, and no interest in meeting her halfway. And when a family hits that point where one person is begging for reconciliation and the others are acting like the bridge is already burned, that's when you know the history between them has layers we still haven't seen. So now the real question is, can this family ever find their way back to each other, or is the divide too deep to repair? Is Tamar chasing a bond that her sisters checked out of a long time ago? And if things keep going like this, what happens next for them as a whole? If you're into wild celeb family drama like this, make sure you hit subscribe to Juicy Reel because trust me, the next stories are going to be just as explosive.
Whether it's Swanda, whether it's me, whether it's Tracy, whether it's Tony, whether it's Tamar, someone can identify with that person. Yeah. And it's just
that the people who don't understand what they're feeling and don't know that mental illness is a real.
What really happened to Tamar Braxton? That's the question shaking the whole internet right now, and everybody keeps dancing around it like they're scared to even speak the truth. What started as a random Instagram post has turned into something way darker, something nobody expected, something that feels straight out of a crime documentary. Just imagine this for a second. A close friend pushing open a door only to freeze in shock. Tamar, one of the most recognizable voices in R&B, on the floor not moving, surrounded by her own blood. Her nose crushed, teeth missing, her whole body looking weak and torn up like she went through a war. And the wildest part? The part that sends chills straight down your spine? Tamar herself said, "I honestly don't even know what happened to me." How does a grown woman end up that hurt and have zero memory of how it happened? That's not a simple fall. That's not just bumping into a table. Something serious went down. Was it some kind of accident nobody wants to explain? Or is there something hidden in the shadows of that Braxton family history that people been whispering about for years? Something people pretend isn't there until moments like this blow everything wide open. And let's be real, Tamar didn't owe the world a thing. She could have stayed quiet, healed up behind closed doors, and kept her business private.
Fans of Tamar Braxton are extremely concerned as she took to social media revealing that she was found in a pool of blood and almost died. So you can pause the video to read her full Instagram story, but a couple of hours ago, Tamar took to her social media and said, "I struggled to write this, but everyone keeps calling me, and honestly, I can't even really talk anymore. I'm so weak. I almost died Sunday. I was found in a pool of blood from my friend with a face injury. As the days go by, the worse it is." Tamar continues, she says, "I fractured my nose, lost some teeth and mobility."
But instead, she jumped straight onto Instagram, pulled that curtain all the way back, and showed everyone a piece of her reality that most celebrities would never admit to. Now fans, friends, and even people who don't rock with her are left stunned, confused, and scared to even guess what really happened next. Fans are straight up horrified and begging for answers right now. The details alone sound like something nobody should ever have to go through. We're talking about a nose that wasn't just broken, it was shattered. Teeth completely knocked out. Her body so drained she could barely lift herself off the ground. It's the kind of scene that makes your stomach twist just thinking about it. So again, what really happened to Tamar Braxton? Everybody keeps asking, but nobody with real info seems brave enough to step up and speak. The way her story was shared, so vague, so incomplete, sent people into a frenzy. And now the internet is spinning theories left and right, and some of these whispers hit way too close to her front door. People inside the circle are talking about family tensions bubbling up behind the scenes.
All right, let's get into this Yeetie. So Tamar Braxton revealed that she almost died, and it was a couple of days ago. She went on her Instagram stories yesterday and said that she suffered from a terrifying accident. She said, I can't even really talk anymore. I'm so weak, I almost died. Sunday, I was found in a pool of blood.
Stuff that wasn't handled, old rivalries, jealousy, and deep wounds that were never fully healed. And now folks are wondering if all that pressure, all that history, might have finally exploded into something dangerous. The Braxton family name has power, no doubt, but anybody who's watched them over the years knows it also comes with heavy emotional baggage, decades of complicated relationships, quiet arguments, secret disagreements, and power plays that reality TV only gave us tiny glimpses of. So now people are questioning everything. Could someone close to Tamar have wished her harm? Could all the fame, money, property, and inheritance connected to that last name be stirring up something dark in the background? Something nobody ever wanted to believe was possible? And here's the wild part. These ain't just random rumors floating around from strangers online. These are real questions coming from people who actually know the family, people who've seen things behind the curtain, people who are suddenly looking around and wondering what kind of storm Tamar might have been caught in.
From my friend with a face injury, as the days go by, the worse it is. I fractured my nose, lost some teeth, and mobility. The way I look at life now is totally different. As my health is on the mend, my mental journey begins. Pray for me for real. I don't even know what happened to me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her either.
But there was a lot of people in her comments, you know, offering prayers and love. That is a scary thing. She posted, "Thank you, God, for waking me up today."
Can I just say, when you share information like this, I be wanting to know more. I'm concerned now.
She don't even know.
Well, say her fans want to know what happened, honestly.
Here's the part that has everybody chilled to the bone. Injuries this extreme don't just happen out of nowhere. A shattered nose and teeth knocked clean out? That kind of damage takes serious force, intentional force, the type of impact you don't get from simply tripping or bumping into something. And the fact that nobody has stepped forward with a clear explanation just makes everything feel even more suspicious. Anybody who's followed the Braxton family over the years knows the whispers that always float around them. Folks talk about a dark cloud hanging over the family, like some type of curse people joke about, until moments like this make it feel way too real. And now, with Tamar lying there confused and in pieces, those whispers aren't whispers anymore. They're full-on alarms blaring in everybody's face. This family has dealt with one crisis after another. From sudden medical emergencies to heartbreaking losses, including the passing of their sister Tracy Braxton, a moment that shook fans and the family to their core. When you look at the timeline, it starts feeling like a pattern, something that keeps hitting them back to back, almost like they're being pushed through wave after wave of pain they never asked for. And Tamar? She's been standing in the middle of that storm for years. Back in 2020, when she was hospitalized after a suspected overdose, the world saw just how deep her emotional struggles went. Her mental health journey has been raw, public, and heavy, and you could feel the weight she was carrying even when she tried to hide it. Her personal relationships have been rocky. sometimes breaking apart right in front of everyone, and other times falling apart behind the scenes where only the closest people knew how bad it got. She's had moments where her career felt unstable, moments where her name became the center of jokes online, moments where people underestimated how much pressure she was under living in a family with such a powerful legacy. The Braxton name carries status, but it also comes with expectations that can crush someone if they're already hurting inside. And despite all of it, she kept trying to stand tall, even while her world kept getting hit with blow after blow. But this situation right here, this hits different. It feels heavier, deeper, like whatever bad energy has been following the Braxton family is tightening its grip. And Tamar might be stuck in a cycle she can't break no matter how hard she pushes back. It makes people wonder if this is something supernatural or if it's something way more real, something passed down through generations. Trauma that never got healed, messy relationships that keep pulling her down, and the insane pressure of carrying a famous last name that never lets you breathe. Tamar's Instagram post wasn't some simple update. It felt like a coded message, a silent alarm wrapped in scripture and emotion. Fans have been studying it like detectives, replaying every frame, every sentence, every detail, trying to make sense of what she's really saying underneath the surface. She dropped a Bible verse, asked for prayers, and then wrote words that left everybody frozen. She said, "Thank you, God, for waking me up today." Read that again. Thank you for waking me up today. Not thank you for healing me, not thank you for the recovery, not even thank you for another chance. She thanked God for waking her up, like even opening her eyes that morning wasn't guaranteed. Like she brushed way too close to a moment she might not have come back from. And that's what hit people in the chest. Those words sounded like someone who knew just how close things got. Someone who felt the danger for real. The video she posted included the song "Spirit Lead Me," a track that's deep, emotional, and all about being lost and begging for direction when you don't know which way to turn. It's the kind of song people put on when they're reaching out, when they're struggling, when they feel like they're hanging on by a thread and need something bigger than themselves to pull them through. Everything about her post screamed that something serious went down, something she's not ready or maybe not allowed to fully explain yet. Is this Tamar's way of telling us she's lost? That she's stuck in something she can't fully explain, like she's sinking and can't find the words to scream for help? Some people think she might not just be sharing her pain. She might be signaling something, warning somebody, or trying to speak without actually speaking. The way her posts were written, the timing, the tone, it all feels way too intentional. The cryptic vibe of everything she shared raises a chilling thought. Maybe Tamar wants to tell the world exactly what happened, but she literally can't. Maybe she's scared. Maybe somebody out there is watching her every move, keeping tabs on what she says, and making sure the official story stays clean. And maybe these little clues she's dropping are her way of hoping somebody smart enough will connect the dots and understand the truth she's too frightened to say out loud. People see Tamar Braxton, the celebrity, the performer, the reality TV personality with the bold attitude and the quick comebacks. But behind all that shine, there's a woman who's been dealing with battles most people wouldn't survive. She's had health scares out of nowhere that left fans stunned. She's had public arguments play out online in front of millions, with every stranger judging and dragging her like they know her real life. And then there's the weight of that Braxton last name, the pressure of being part of a famous family where everybody has talent, everybody has a legacy, and everybody has something to prove. Tamar has spent years feeling the eyes of the industry, critics, and even her own family watching her, comparing her, expecting perfection from her while ignoring the pain she carries. And no matter how successful she was, it always felt like someone was ready to say she still wasn't enough. This moment right here feels completely different, like the final straw, the breaking point, the moment where everything she's been fighting, hiding, and burying finally burst through the surface in a way she couldn't control anymore. This moment feels like the point where all those years of pain, all that pressure, all that emotional weight finally exploded and left real physical damage behind. Blood, broken bones, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. And now everybody's forced to face the questions they've been dodging. What actually went down that Sunday? Who was the friend that found her, and why have they stayed completely silent? Why is every detail missing? Like not just unclear, but totally erased? Because let's be real, injuries this serious don't happen quietly. When someone ends up with a shattered nose and missing teeth, there are always records. Police reports, hospital documents, witnesses, someone who heard or saw something. So where is all of that? Why does it feel like the whole situation has been wiped clean? It's like someone hit delete on the truth. Tamar's manager dropped a tiny statement saying she's recovering, and that's it. No explanation, no timeline, no reassurance, just a single word tossed at fans who are sitting here terrified and begging for clarity. People aren't buying it because that kind of silence around such a serious incident feels way too controlled. And that silence? It's loud. So loud, it's scary. In a world where every celebrity situation gets blasted across social media within minutes, where everything is recorded, leaked, or posted before a publicist even wakes up, this level of quiet feels unnatural. It feels deliberate. It feels like somebody is protecting something or someone. The whole thing suggests there are secrets tucked away behind this incident. Secrets somebody does not want out in the open. And it makes people wonder, is Tamar protecting someone because she's scared of what might happen if she talks? Is she being pressured to keep quiet? Or, maybe the most heartbreaking possibility, is she genuinely confused about what happened and trapped inside a haze of trauma that has her memory scrambled, just like the injuries she suffered? Everything about this situation feels like a puzzle, with half the pieces missing, and the pieces we do have look like someone tried to hide them before anyone could figure out the full picture. The Braxton family drama has always run deeper than anything reality TV ever showed us. The cameras only caught the polished arguments, the rehearsed reactions, the stuff they were willing to let the world see. But behind those closed doors, away from producers and bright lights, there were real fights, real resentment, and real tension that built up for years. And when a family's legacy involves fame, businesses, and serious money, inheritance issues can turn relatives into straight-up opponents. Money has a way of pulling out the parts of people they try to hide, the parts nobody wants the public to know about. And in a family as successful, layered, and complicated as the Braxtons, it's not hard to imagine how those dark feelings could grow into something dangerous. People are now wondering if all that unresolved drama finally exploded in a way nobody expected. Tamar Braxton has always been a survivor. She's shown that over and over again. She's pushed through mental health battles, career knockdowns, messy public drama, and relationships that left her hurting. She kept coming back even when the world thought she was finished. She wore her strength like armor, showing up with her head high when plenty of people were waiting for her to fall apart. But here's the truth people forget. Resilience doesn't make someone untouchable. Just because Tamar kept getting back up doesn't mean the hits didn't leave marks. Just because she smiled on camera doesn't mean she wasn't breaking behind the scenes. Surviving doesn't mean she never felt the weight of everything crashing down. And for years, some critics brushed her off. They called Tamar dramatic, said she was exaggerating, claimed she was just looking for attention. They made jokes, dropped comments, and acted like her emotions weren't real, like her pain wasn't valid. But now, with this terrifying incident hanging over everything, those same people are realizing maybe she wasn't being dramatic at all. Maybe she's been trying to tell the world how heavy her life really is, and nobody listened until now. People used to roll their eyes at Tamar's tears and brush off her emotional moments like she was just being extra. They labeled her the difficult one, the dramatic one, the so-called problem in the room. But now, with her lying in a pool of blood and dealing with injuries that could have taken her life, suddenly that pain looks very real, doesn't it? Suddenly, the world is realizing maybe they got her all wrong. This whole situation is forcing everybody to face a harsh truth. People judged her without mercy. They dismissed her struggles. They laughed at her breakdowns. They treated her real pain like it was just entertainment for social media. And now here we are, looking at the fallout of a culture that wants celebrities to pour out their trauma for views, but refuses to treat them like human beings when they're hurting. Fame handed Tamar Braxton a lot. Success, recognition, a career, a voice, a platform where she could show off the talent she was born with. But fame also took so much from her. It stripped away her privacy, her peace, and her ability to live a normal life. It put a spotlight on her every mistake, every weakness, every heartbreak. And now, with this terrifying incident, it might have even taken her memory of what actually happened that night. Because behind the pictures, behind the makeup, behind the stage performances and glamorous Instagram posts, there's a woman who's exhausted from always having to be on. A woman tired from being judged by millions who don't know her. A woman who's been struggling to hold together relationships that constantly crumble under the pressure of public eyes. A woman carrying expectations heavy enough to crush anybody who isn't built from steel, and even steel cracks under enough pressure. The image of Tamar lying there injured, bleeding, barely conscious, it hits like a symbol, almost too real to ignore. It feels like a harsh snapshot of what fame can truly do to a person when the lights go off and the filters disappear. Fame doesn't just lift people up, it breaks them down. It strips away pieces of them slowly until they barely recognize themselves in the mirror. It turns real human beings into shells, performing nonstop for an audience that never gets satisfied. And it forces a tough question. Do we actually care about celebrities as real people, or just as entertainment? Do we see their hearts, or do we only care about the chaos they can provide for our timelines? When Tamar was lying in that pool of blood, how many folks were worried about her actual safety, and how many were just waiting for the next messy update to drop online? It's a scary thought, but it's one we have to face. Tamar has admitted before that she spent years hiding behind a mask, smiling while she was hurting inside, pretending to be strong while she was falling apart behind closed doors. She performed confidence even when she didn't feel it. She became her own shield because she felt like she had no other choice. But now? This incident might be the moment where that whole facade crumbles for good. The moment where the truth she's been holding down finally pushes its way out. Is this the point where Tamar steps into real healing and faces the trauma she's been running from? Will she finally let herself admit what hurts, what scares her, what she's been carrying alone for so long? Or will this become just another painful chapter she's forced to bury deep, another part of her story hidden under silence, fear, and pressure from the people around her? Will the truth fade away while the world moves on, leaving her to carry this wound by herself again? The world is watching, and this time, not just for the drama, but to see whether she rises, breaks, or finally tells the whole truth.
Are you guys a couple?
Well, T, that's my girl, my friend, my family.
Do you have sex?
That's my love, my soldier, my life. She my everything, and I trust
Because you
her.
bought her a Bentley truck.
Yes.
So the implication is that's your girlfriend.
It's in my life.
From secret weddings to sudden breakups, and from shady denials to mysteriously missing jewelry, Toni Braxton and Birdman's relationship has been a wild ride, more twisted than a Six Flags roller coaster.
Saying, you know, Birdman doesn't know if he's a blood or a crip, or this, you know, this gay thing and that gay thing.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
He was saying that you was gay.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm a straight gangster, man. That nigga been in my hood. He know what's happening with me. You hear me? Nigga know what's happening with me, man. Google me, man. Call anything in the 504 and ask about me. Google me, man. Watch what come up. Yeah. Straight G.
This love story has had everything: passion, confusion, and a touch of chaos. And today, we're diving deep into this hot, tangled mess. Back in 2001, Toni tied the knot with Carrie Lewis from mint condition. Things seemed picture perfect at first. The music, the fame, the love, but it didn't take long for cracks to show. Then, just a year later, in 2002, she crossed paths with
Tracy is the one who said to me, Toni, you know, when you make it, you can help us come on. So I always try to abide that. But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. I never used to say anything to anybody, but since we've been doing this show, I've been saying.
None other than Brian Birdman Williams, the big boss of Cash Money Records. That meeting right there, it changed everything. Sparks flew, rumors started swirling, and the industry began whispering about this unexpected duel. And baby, from that moment on, nothing was ever the same. Who is this mystery man, you ask? None other than Birdman, the co-founder of Cash Money Records, the same powerhouse label.
Like a lot of people don't understand, my second bankruptcy is because I was sick. I have lupus, and my show in Vegas got canceled.
And the insurance wouldn't cover it.
The insurance didn't cover it, so I had to pay myself.
Right. That's a lot. That was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. But people don't understand it. So if you see a concert, you see the lights, you see the band on stage, artist pays the hotel rooms, the salary. So then you have nothing.
That dropped the iconic hit, Baby, You Can Do It. And if you've seen that music video, then you already know. The chemistry between Toni and Birdman was straight up electric. It was wild. It was magnetic. It was giving something's going on here. Vibes for sure. But of course, they swore it was all strictly professional. She was still married at the time. And Birdman, well, he was out there doing his own thing. And only God knows what that was. Out here locking lips with Lil Wayne on camera like it was nothing. What in the Damon and Marlon Wayans parody is going on here? Toni tried to keep her personal life steady though. After having 2 beautiful children, she and Carrie Lewis decided to call it quits. The marriage was done, but they wanted to end things with class. In her memoir, which you can check out below, Toni revealed they made a pact to stay cool for the kids. They even continued living under the same Atlanta roof and promised to take one family vacation together every single year. One vacation a year with your ex. Oh hell no, that's a plot twist nobody saw coming. Even Toni's mom was like, girl, it's time to mix it up. Maybe try dating outside your type, basically telling her to play in the snow. But Toni wasn't ready. Her heart was still healing, and she wasn't about to rush into another messy romance just yet. Still, destiny had other plans. And Birdman wasn't exactly the kind of man who stayed in the background for long. Maybe the real reason Toni wasn't ready to date again was because she and Carrie had started sneaking around for round 2. Yep, they gave love another shot, but that spark burned out fast. After about 1.5 years, it was over for good. When the divorce papers hit, things got messy. Toni had to pay him alimony, while Carrie was ordered to drop $2,000 a month in child support. Wait a minute, alimony and child support? Girl, that's a double hit. This right here is exactly why they say, make sure he's got more money than you. Because a grown man cashing checks from a woman like Toni Braxton, that's wild. After that fiasco, Toni decided to take her mama's advice and switch things up. She dipped her toe into new territory and started dating a white man. And by February 2012, the headlines were screaming that she was linked to none other than Eddie Murphy. Yep, that Eddie Murphy. But just when people thought this could be something real, it fizzled out quick. Fans started rooting for her and Babyface to become a thing. The chemistry was undeniable. But Tony shut it down on The Breakfast Club, saying Babyface would never see her in that light. Dang, talk about the friend zone. Then out of nowhere, she stepped out with the most unexpected man ever. Birdman! Nobody saw that coming. They hit the red carpet in 2016, and the world went silent for a second before everyone collectively screamed, "Wait, what?" Months into dating, Birdman went full flex mode and gifted her a Bentley SUV, luxury on wheels Bobby. By January 2018, they dropped their track, Hard Away, giving fans a musical peek into their whirlwind romance. Then boom! Just a month later, Birdman dropped down with a ring, and Tony said yes. But wait, what about Carrie? Was he back at the house popping champagne, celebrating her engagement too? Tony told Daily Pop that Birdman was ready to lock it down. He told her straight up to pick a wedding date ASAP because he wanted to be a married man before the year was out. But guess what? That wedding never happened. The months rolled by, then the years, and Tony kept pushing the date back over and over, blaming it on work commitments. That sounds like a polite excuse if you ask me. People started whispering that maybe she wasn't too eager to marry a man with Birdman's unique reputation. Folks joked that she didn't want to wake up next to a dude who looked like a mix between a bird and a pit bull every morning. Maybe that's why those wedding plans kept getting delayed again and again. Then came the real jaw-dropper. While flying from New York to Los Angeles on a Delta flight, Tony accidentally left her Louis Vuitton train case behind on the plane. Inside that fancy little box, her massive yellow diamond engagement ring, worth a staggering $5 million. How do you forget something like that? Who leaves a small fortune sitting in a carry-on bag? That's beyond careless. The next day, the airline found the case, but when they opened it, all the jewelry was gone. Poof! Vanished into thin air. When Birdman later sat down with Wendy Williams, he tried to play it cool. He said he wasn't even sweating the missing ring. Told her straight up he'd just buy Tony another one if he needed to. That's some serious big money talk right there. But still, that missing bling became the talk of the town, and it left a whole lot of people wondering if their relationship was starting to lose its shine too. Oh, with Lil Wayne's money that you still owe him, huh? The shade writes itself. Then came January 2019, and boom, the drama hit social media like a storm. Tony and Birdman unfollowed each other out of nowhere, and Birdman added fuel to the fire by posting "It's over" on his Instagram story. Real dramatic energy. Folks were quick to assume the engagement was dead and gone. Birdman was out here acting emotional, like a man mid-R&B heartbreak ballad. But a few months later, he tried to clean it up, telling Wendy Williams the whole breakup was just a publicity stunt. Yeah, okay. According to a source from Hollywood Life, the couple wasn't sweating the rumors. In fact, they didn't mind the public chaos one bit. Why? Because all that buzz kept Tony's reality show, Braxton Family Values, trending again. The more people talked, the more views rolled in. A little drama for ratings never hurt, right? By April 2020, during the pandemic lockdowns, fans were still waiting for wedding bells, but nothing. Tony went on the Rick and Sasha show and admitted that she and Birdman kept going back and forth about wedding plans. They'd set dates, but things always got too big. Birdman even suggested they just do a drive-through wedding. Can you imagine Tony Braxton saying, "I do" in a car while picking up fries? No way. She shut that down quick. Years kept slipping by, and still, no wedding, no ring replacement, no nothing. Then out of nowhere, in December 2023, a messy online source claimed Tony and Birdman had finally tied the knot. Fans lost their minds, headlines were everywhere. But before anyone could celebrate, Tony jumped on Instagram and cleared it up herself. She reposted the announcement with a sharp caption that shut it all down. "My dear friend, Birdman and I are not married. Never been married." And just like that, she snatched the truth back from the rumor mill. But the damage? Oh, that was already done. "We are both single now. That's what Tony said, officially putting Birdman straight into the friend zone. By April 2024, it was crystal clear that their on-again, off-again roller coaster had finally screeched to a stop. She opened up to People magazine saying she was actually enjoying the single life. Tony said, "I'm looking forward to getting out there and dating." I mean, dating can be scary too. It can be a little bit, but a nice guy. Someone who will watch Lifetime with me all day long, or at least once in the week. Girl, you don't need a man for that. You can call your sisters for a Lifetime marathon. Her fans were split right down the middle. Half of them were celebrating, happy that Tony had finally left Birdman and his drama behind. But the other half, they weren't buying it for a second. They swore she'd be back with him before the year was over. And guess what? They might have been right, because in April 2025, TMZ dropped a bombshell. Just 4 months after that whole "I'm single and ready to mingle" interview, the outlet reported that Tony and Birdman had actually gotten married. Wait, what? I know you lying. Or maybe she's lying. Either way, somebody's out here playing with our emotions. Because just when fans started wrapping their heads around this surprise wedding news, boom, another twist hit. The happy couple didn't even last a month. According to legal documents obtained by TMZ, Tony filed for divorce a mere 2 weeks later, listing their official separation date as August 10th, 2024. 2 weeks? That's shorter than some trial subscriptions. After years of ups, downs, rumors, and million-dollar rings, it all ended in paperwork. No more maybes, no more makeups, no more mystery. Tony Braxton and Birdman's love story went from glitzy and glamorous to gone in a flash. Tony's lawyer officially called the marriage irretrievably broken, which sounded like the end of the road. But hold on tight, because it gets even messier. Somebody, please hand me my margarita. And don't forget the peach rings. You know I toss those right in the glass. It's my therapy drink for when celebrity drama gets this wild. Just when everyone thought the split was final, boom, a shocking twist dropped in January 2025. Tony suddenly dismissed the divorce petition and Birdman actually signed off on it. Wait, what? After everything, the back and forths, the emotional interviews, the $5 million ring fiasco, they're still legally married. But here's the kicker. Nobody knows what's really going on between them now. Neither one has said a word publicly. And that silence? Oh, it's loud. So here we are. Years of breakups, reconciliations, and postponed weddings. And this love story is still hanging by a thread. Considering how it all started with secret studio chemistry, flashy gifts, and rumors flying left and right, it's giving major unfinished business energy. Are we seeing red flags all over again? Or are people just jealous that Tony's still the one catching Birdman's attention while he's doing his Birdman thing? Bestie, you so messy. Someone's probably saying right now. But let's be real. This saga's too wild not to talk about. Drop your thoughts down below, because this story might not be done yet. And hey, before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on Juicy Reel, where the tea never stops spilling and the drama's always hot. Let me tell you something, and listen close, because I've watched every Braxton show there is. I've seen the drama, the tears, the laughter, all of it. And this right here, this is just my opinion, but I think there's way more to Tony and Birdman's situation than people realize. See, Tony's been open about her lupus for years. That illness takes a real toll on the body. On top of that, she's battled heart issues that scared her fans half to death. So maybe, just maybe, she's not marrying out of romance anymore. Maybe she's thinking about security. Here's how I see it. Tony might have tied herself to Birdman because she wanted to make sure someone powerful was in charge of her estate if anything ever happened to her. Someone who could handle her finances, protect her kids, and even look after her family, her sisters, her mama, the whole Braxton crew. And let's be real. They all got money, but none of them got Birdman money. The man's pockets are deep. Like, never worry about another bill again. Deep. And you know what? Maybe this whole thing isn't about love in the traditional sense at all. Maybe it's more of a quiet arrangement, a mutual understanding between two people who know exactly what they're getting out of it. Some people might even call it a lavender marriage type of deal, a partnership built more on loyalty, protection, and power than passion. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure. This story is layered, and we might not ever know the full truth behind those wedding rings and business moves. Now, if that theory's true, it actually makes a lot of sense. Toni's a smart woman, and she's been through too much to let her legacy fall into chaos. She's been grinding in the music industry since the 90s, building her name brick by brick, hit after hit. So if she decided to make a business-type move with Birdman, that could have been her way of securing her empire and protecting her loved ones. Still, people can't help but whisper about the real dynamic between them, because Birdman has always been, well, mysterious. He moves like a man who's got 10 different versions of the truth. One minute, he's all about love and loyalty. The next, he's out here with cryptic posts and shady smiles. Some folks swear he's hiding something, others think he's just misunderstood. Either way, Toni's no fool. She knows what kind of man she's dealing with. And you can't deny they've always had this strange magnetic pull, like they can't fully let go of each other, no matter how many times they try. And let's not forget how this whole situation looks from the outside. Toni's fans are split down the middle. Some say she's sacrificing too much just to stay connected to him, while others think she's playing chess, not checkers. They say she's keeping her cards close, setting up her future in a way only a true diva could. Still, every time we think it's over for good, something drags them right back together. A public sighting here, a cryptic emoji there, or a casual repost that sets social media on fire. It's like they can't quit each other, no matter what. So what's next for Toni and Birdman? Another reunion? Another heartbreak? Or maybe this was the plan all along? A relationship built on secrets, survival, and just enough love to keep the world guessing. Whatever's really going on behind those designer shades, one thing's for sure. This story ain't done brewing yet. See, the truth is, Toni and Birdman have been good friends for a long time. That's why I think they kept everything low-key when they tied the knot, if they really did. They didn't want every camera flashing in their faces or social media turning it into a circus. Their bond runs deep, and they've been riding for each other through all the chaos and rumors. But here's the thing, maybe Toni's still got that tiny voice in her head wondering if her real forever love might still be out there somewhere. Maybe she's thinking, one day I might meet a real king, or even a prince, someone I'm actually drawn to, someone I want to wake up next to every day. Still, at the same time, she knows time isn't exactly on her side anymore. She's been through heartbreak, illness, and fame. She's seen it all. So maybe she just wanted to lock something in that made sense on paper. And when I say civil, I don't mean nice, I mean legal. She might have said, you know what? Let's do this the smart way, so if anything ever happens, my kids, my estate, my legacy, all of it stays protected. It's not about romance at that point, it's about strategy. Now I can already hear folks saying she could have just set up a trust. She didn't have to marry him for that. And yeah, that's true. But who really knows what's going on behind closed doors? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an estate planner. I'm just calling it how I see it. Maybe Toni's playing long game moves we can't even see yet. What do you think? Is this love, loyalty, or just smart business? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more wild celebrity tea, only on Juicy Reel.
Listen, I have a question. Who put out that horrible, terrible, bad rumor that y'all broke up? Who did that?
Your sister.
Tamar Braxton just broke her silence, and she didn't hold back. All those wild rumors about Birdman and the Cash Money Empire, she finally addressed them, and the truth is darker than anyone expected.
Tamar Braxton? Right, I don't believe they got married. I think that's a lie.
The reason why I think it's a lie because Stella not gonna do nothing without Slim being there or Slim knowing something about it.
Birdman's entire empire, once dripping in luxury and diamonds, is now being linked to strange rituals and twisted energy that's eating him alive. And guess what? Tony might have just confirmed it without even meaning to. For years, people looked at Tony and Birdman like a mystery wrapped in money, the R&B queen and the street mogul. Everyone thought it was some odd fairy tale, but behind those red carpets and private jets was something way more dangerous.
Weird to me when I got the Cash Money, it was the weirdest thing. I know they had all these artists on the label.
Right.
So I get to the label and then all of a sudden, they let all the artists go, all the other artists go.
Tony didn't fall for Birdman's flash. She fell into his world, a world that looked glamorous from the outside, but felt cursed once you stepped in. When she walked away, it wasn't because she was done loving him. It was because she'd seen too much. That sparkle turned sinister fast, and all that talk about their secret marriage, it wasn't a rumor anymore. It was real. Paperwork was moving behind the scenes, and people close to them were whispering that something went seriously wrong right after they said, "I do." 2 weeks later, the internet blew up. Tony was on social media calling it all cap, scrubbing every trace of their union like she was running from something bigger than heartbreak. That wasn't just denial. That was self-defense. She wasn't dodging embarrassment. She was cutting ties before the darkness pulled her down too. And now those old whispers about what really happens inside Cash Money, they're getting louder, way louder. People been whispering about strange late-night meetings and shady moves inside Cash Money for years. And now those stories sound a lot more real. Artists like Juvenile been warning about it forever, saying weird things happen behind closed doors that don't add up. And Toni Braxton, she saw it firsthand. She looked that side of Birdman's world right in the face, and it scared her more than any disease ever could. Tony's been through it all. Lupus, heart surgery, near-death scares. She's a survivor. But this was different. It wasn't a medical battle. It was spiritual warfare. She realized she wasn't just dealing with a man. She was dealing with an energy that could drag her straight down if she stayed too close. So she made her move quick, wiped her socials clean, erased their connection, and threw herself back into music and self-care. That wasn't a breakup. That was an escape plan. While Tony was glowing up and getting her strength back, Birdman's whole vibe started falling apart. Cameras started catching him looking off. There's footage of him literally dozing off during shows, slumped in his chair like his body was shutting down. Fans said he looked sick, like something was draining him from the inside. Some joked he was the Black Joe Biden, saying he could barely stay awake. But behind those jokes was real concern. Ever since that Hot Boys reunion tour, clips been flooding social media, Birdman standing under bright lights, eyes rolling, losing focus, mid-sentence, while the crowd looks confused. People in the audience were whispering, "Yo, is he okay?" Some swore it looked like seizures, others said it was a bad relapse. Either way, the man didn't look like himself. Those videos spread like wildfire, faster than his team could cover up. Suddenly, it looked like the empire he built off power and control was starting to crumble right in front of everyone. His closest people tried to quiet it down, but the internet had already seen too much. Not long after the rumors exploded, BG jumped on camera, cracking up like it was all a joke. He said, "Man, Birdman ain't high, he just can't read the teleprompter," and laughed it off like everything was business as usual. According to him, Birdman was fine, no health issues, no relapse, just bad lighting and a little exhaustion. And that's the same story everyone in Birdman's circle keeps repeating. He's good, just tired. But come on, not everyone's buying that. Maybe they're protecting the boss, or maybe they're scared to say what's really going on. Because when you see those clips, Birdman half conscious under the lights, mumbling while the crowd stares. It's hard to believe it's just fatigue. It looked like something way deeper, like the life he built was finally taking its toll. Some folks online even said, "That ain't lean, that's karma catching up." And honestly, it's hard to argue. Just think about it. How many artists from that empire have faded away, lost their shine, or straight up disappeared. Big names, once on top of the world, now ghosts in the game. It's like Cash Money drained the life out of people, one deal at a time. Every fallen career, every silenced voice feels like another piece of that empire's soul slipping away. So let's be real. Toni Braxton didn't just leave a man, she escaped a machine, a system that looked golden from the outside, but was rotting on the inside. Birdman's name been tied to the word ritual for years, but people got it twisted. Nobody's talking about candles or pentagrams. The real rituals were about power, loyalty, and total control. That's how the game was played. You gave your soul to the label, and the label decided what you were worth. From the outside, Cash Money looked like a music label, but once you peek behind that glossy image, it moved like a secret society, one that demanded silence, obedience, and sacrifice. Cash Money moved like a secret society, straight up. Every new artist had to prove they were loyal before they could even dream of rocking that diamond-studded logo on their chain. It wasn't just